What is going on? What's happening? Let me see what we got here. Let's check the audio here. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. I gotta give you. Here we go. Here he is. Oh yeah. Let me just make sure this seems to be working there. All right. All right. What is going on? Let us see. Let us see. I actually slept in here a little bit late again. Damn. It's a good thing it wasn't high school. I'd be needing a hall pass. What do you guys think? Be like, now, Chris, you've done this what? Not good. Be all right. We're all here. It's all that matters. That's all I care about. So, awesome. Let's see. Make sure this is over here. Something cold to drink. Can you imagine if I actually got some kind of backing from Subway? Oh, man. It's like, I'll just take that intravenous, thank you. So what's going on? The usual suspects. My brothers and sisters out there. Hope everybody's doing well. Very busy week for me. And more changes coming up, which in some ways could be good, some ways could be bad for the channel. And I'll explain a little bit. So, because I just believe in being straight up and honest with everybody. So, oh boy, it was a long week. So what's everybody else been up to? What's going on? Let's see. Do a little bit of a roll call here. Corey, what's happening? Good to see you. And he said, hello, Chris. Renee Cruz is in there. And Josh D's in there. Mimi's in there. Mr. Kyle Harvey's in there. Robert Kermit Cole. Yay! What's happening, Robert? Let's see. He's going to go get pizza. He'll be back shortly. All right, Kyle. Yeah, I had some earlier. A little bit of Pizza Hut. It wasn't bad. A little greasy, though. Ricardo Petrozzi, what's happening, brother? He said, hey, hello, gang. What is happening? Robert Morgan's in there. What's going on, Robert? Renee V's in the Hizoo. Hi, Chris, in chat. Good to see everyone in there. It's just awesome. Let me see. Let me see. Mr. James Cragen is in the house. Hey, he got in here, too. I was probably later than you were today, James. What do you think? So, hi, Chris, and everyone tonight. What is going on? Corey just had pizza myself. I hear that. It must have been a pizza day for some reason. It's kind of odd, isn't it? Yeah. Let's see. Daniel Lee's in there. So, good evening, everyone. Hope you all have a good week. Best night of the week, Chris. Hope you are good and not working too hard, Danny. No, Danny, I'm not, well, this week, a little bit, but not too bad, right? You can get away with it, not too bad. But you know how work is you gotta get to the grind and do what you gotta do. But change is going on at my job, and like I said, I'll be talking about that in a little bit. And to let everybody know what's going on, stuff like that. So yeah, we'll jump on that. Let's see, Josh D says, hey, Chris, glad that I can be here from the start of this week. Nothing wrong with that. Yes, sir. Corey, sorry, didn't mean to send that love heart kiss. I've done that before. And it's weird because you're so used to maybe doing it to maybe a significant other or whatever, and you just kind of like, and you put it, and you go, what the hell did I do that for? It's just weird. I mean, you just do something like that and you just go, oh my God. That's the time you just basically want to punch yourself in the groin, right? But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. What's up, Mr. Long Island, New York, 1395? How are you up in the NY? What is going on up there? Robert George, what's happening? He says, hello all. What's going on? What's going on, Robert? P. Ferrero, are you talking about, are we talking about the same layer? Really? Did he just pass? I didn't hear anything about it, because I haven't really been online, to be truthful. Henry Strait, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Says, hey, Chris. Hope you're doing well, Henry. Mr. John Sharp is in there. Hold on. Just barely had your comment in the screen. What's going on? James Cragen, thank you very much for your support. Always supporting. I appreciate you. Said, LOL, yes, Chris, I beat you to it. You did, man. Usually it's like, everybody's going, hey, what happened to James? James in here tonight? No James. And I guess you beat me to it this time. Nothing wrong with that. Not a thing wrong with it. Enrico, what's happening? Chicken sandwiches, pizza. Then this place always makes me hungry, doesn't it? I mean, I'm like, I don't know why, just because it may or may not be subliminal messages. I don't know. Whatever. I always, listen, guys, I could be talking for a while, throat starts getting itchy. Of course, we have all kinds of ragweed and all kinds of BS going on. It's just crazy, you know what I mean? So it's between the combination that literally it makes my throat itch. Of course, talking for like 2 or 3 hours doesn't help either, right? It just makes it get worse. And the fact that you're still running heat in your house, because mine's all electric, right? So it's like really dry heat as opposed to a gas heat. So it's really, really dry and it sucks, to be honest with you. But unless you run a humidifier, right? But the combination between all three is never a good thing. You sound like, I can't talk. Yeah, it doesn't sound good. Yeah. Elaine Millard, what's happening? Good to see you in there as well. What's going on there, Tony Introvert? Hey, he says, well, little alien heads, little gray aliens. Yeah, I actually have one of those, it's like a rubber mask. I should have had that on today. That would have been funny. Be like, oh, so he is an alien. We knew it all along. He is from Mars. Oh, yeah, that's funny. Renee V says, if you see new names, I've really lobbied for you. Big fan. You're a big fan. Oh, I appreciate that. I really do, Renee. I really do. That's cool. John Schaub says, Chris, love the Apollo vid. Yeah, that one was pretty cool, wasn't it? It was pretty neat. That was pretty. And I can only get out like one. Like I said, I'm going to explain all that. Being basically a busy week. Now, I'll fill you guys in a little bit more too, right? Corey says, good to see you. Mars Army in the house. No doubt. Kyle says, I'm on a little side street, but that last video was awesome. With the buildings and structures over the fake butte. Yeah, that one there, I love that because at first it just looks like it's nothing more than buttes or some kind of hill. But if you look at especially the one that was on the right in that Mars video, take a close look. What looks like little ledges, and it looks like this rectangular piece literally right underneath the ledge. I'm going, okay, clearly that's not natural, right? And the more you look at it, depending on, because they don't give you scale. So you don't know how far, because you've got a real up-close area, and then you have down, it goes down into this valley area, and then you have all of these, around, basically almost like a quarter circle, if you will. And you have all of these, like, what so-called buttes, but then when you take a close look, it looks like a bunch of junk all over these things. And I did show you, in fact, that it's a fake sky. Surprise, surprise, right? I love doing those particular ones because every chance I get to show people that is in fact being manipulated, censored somehow, the better. Because some people, even if you can show them, like some of the things on the ground, they still, there's no way they're being manipulated. That's probably the real deal. And it's not. Even some people are saying, listen, I understand that there could be these like red particles or dust in the sky. It's still, the sky would not look like this milky sky at all times. It just doesn't make sense. Because it's either going to be red or it's going to be clear. There's never a clear sky. You ever notice that? You should be able to see for miles upon miles, and you're not seeing that. Red flags, right? So, yeah. And I love it. Just jumped on me. John Shea, what's going on? He said, yeah, I made it. Nice to see you all. Hi, Chris. What's going on? Good to see you there, John. Been a while since you've been in here, haven't you? Glad to see you. John Java, are you being thrown off by your... Are you saying the missus, I guess you're saying? No, not at all. Not at all. Corey says, here in England, it was that hot the other day. I cut the grass, then this week it snowed. Yeah, I know, it's crazy, isn't it? We had like an 80-degree day. It was like 80... 82, 83. It was like on Monday or Tuesday. I was like, wow, this is really nice. Of course, we knew it was going to cool down, right? And it went from, the next day went from the 70s, and even in the morning it was 73 degrees. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. By the afternoon, well, actually mid-morning, wind started blowing even more, howling like no tomorrow. And then all of a sudden just came in. And Kyle, you know what I'm talking about because you're just west of me. So you know what's up. And you can just literally, the cold air just came right in, right? And it dropped down to like the 50s? It was crazy. It's a good God. John, I was just reading the other one you had prior. You got the sack? Let's see. I don't know, Elaine. They may or may not, because you said never been to a Subway. Don't think they do gluten-free, but I call it glutton-free, right? But I don't know, because a lot of times they're trying to change that, because obviously, one, it gets more customers in, and two, it is more healthier eating, right? So maybe something you want to check. You can just go online and check. Just Google it, go on a Subway site, and see if they offer that kind of thing, you know? Because they do have some of those either low-calorie meals. They've got all kinds of stuff like that. Could be, so I would check to see if they do actually have the, like, gluten-free, right? Mr. Limey Watches in the house. What's going on, Limey? Good to see you in there. Oh, that'll suck, Ricardo. He said, mother effing car alarm going off here. Hope it does not do that all night. Yeah, that would be aggravating as hell, wouldn't it? I hear that. That is not good. We used to have he had a neighbor that would do that. For some reason, this goes back in, I think, late 80s, early 90s. And I don't know if you guys remember these Viper alarms. You remember them when it was like, it was the new little novelty. It would talk to you when you got next to it because it could send a please step away from the vehicle. And of course, you got close and you hit it. Viper alarm is now activated. I mean, it couldn't be the most cheesiest thing, even back then, because it was cutting edge. It was just the most cheesiest thing I've ever seen, right? My buddy's like, oh yeah, check this out. I'm like, okay, hope you didn't pay over $100 for that thing. Oh, dude, this is like $700. I went, you got ripped. You got ripped off, homie. You know, I just put a kill switch in mine, and that was the end of it. And say they can break the ignition, they can do anything they want. They're just not starting my car. Great for all, what's happening? You said I don't usually recommend books here, but this one is too interesting. Humans Are Not From Earth by Ella Silver. Oh, interesting. Huh. Are they saying we're from Mars? Boom, boom, boom. Cloudy with a chance of UFOs, I'm sorry. Evening, Chris. Hope you're good, man. I am. I hope you're doing good. Okay, cloudy, if you will. What's going on? I hope you're doing good as well. John, I like that. Chris, have you been found out by Supermarket selling stolen pizza and going to pizza? Man, you caught me, man. How'd you know that? You looked online, didn't you? Okay, I'm a felon. Let's go. Yeah, I even said that to my the new boss. You know, it was funny because, like I said, I'll tell you the story in a little bit. But you know, it's funny how people steal the silliest things and either get a huge fine or get locked up for it. I said, yeah, because I don't know about you, but I want to do 20 years for stealing like a can of Chef Boyardee. Of course, you wouldn't go to jail for that. But regardless of that, I mean, the idea of people stealing that kind of stuff is just, it just blows my mind. I can't stand a liar. I can't stand a thief. One of the two biggest things I hate more than anything with people. And it's like, listen, if I was in there and people were like, let's say I seen a woman in there with a child going like just taking something, stealing it. Man, don't take it. I'll buy it for you. Don't steal it. It just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Do it the right way. What do you need? I'll get it for you. You know, I don't care. I hate to see somebody in need. You know what I'm saying? It's just not right, though. Because, you know, it literally is, it hurts the store, too. Even though it's a write-off, right? It's not the point, you know? It drives prices up eventually, right? MG Toe's in there? What's going on, MG Toe? Scratch. I've got one of those in my van. Do you really? The Viper ones? Man, that goes back, man. Are they still selling those? That's crazy. Oh, that's funny. This is Jean Ward's in there. What's going on? Good to see you in there, Jean. Hope you're doing well. Your empty trolley, Chris. Yeah, pretty. It's funny how you guys call them that, because you guys call them trolleys. Back where I come from, they're carriages, and then down here in the south, they call them buggies. I'm going, I am so confused. And of course, they laugh about it. They go, what do you call it? What are you talking about? What the heck did they say to me? It's funny how they put it. They said, carriage? There's no baby in that. I said, well, how is yours any different? You got a buggy, horse and buggy, horse and carriage. So, I mean, it's kind of like, it just depends on where you're at, right? And of course, in the UK, I think they call them trolleys and everything else. But it's cool to hear the different sayings or different words for that particular object. Like when you talk about a car, the front, we call it a hood, you call it a bonnet, or the boot, we call it a trunk. It's just windscreen, windshield. And I find it cool because it's like different sayings, like from different countries. So it's pretty neat. Mr. 7-Digit, what's happening? Good to see you in there. He says, hey there. Let's Get Unknown, what's happening? He said, Humans Are Not From Earth is a short but very good read. Oh, I'll have to check that out. Ricardo, he said, remember the Bond movie where his car alarm anti-theft mechanism was the car blew up? Which Bond movie escapes me? I think I know which one you're talking about, and I'm not sure of it either. What the heck was that? But as soon as you say James Bond, I hear dung 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 dung. It just plays in my head immediately, right? Corey says, people here in England used to have those talking alarms. Just walk past and the car starts shouting at you. I mean, it makes you want to break into the car just to rip the alarm off and then take a hammer to it, because I just found a simple alarm was cool. Now, don't get me wrong. Remember the ones that would just go woo-doo, woo-doo, wee, 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 and just change different tones, and, the things that hoot and holler. I mean, a dog or a cat could walk by and break wind and set the alarm off. It's ridiculous sometimes because, you could set them things to sensitivity. It's either vibration and whatever else, It's just crazy. I think one time I MacGyvered that. I heard where people were breaking into this little apartment complex where I lived, and I was living on my own at the time. This goes back many years in the 80s. And I rigged up a car alarm. Remember the old EQs? They used to have a car alarm built in them, and it would go off the dome light. And so I had it set up where I just had it switched on my door. So if you open up the door without hitting a keypad outside, then the second you open that thing, it just tripped it. And it was loud. You'd have car speakers, because keep in mind, those things were amplified. They were actually equal amplifiers. So it was a combination equalizer, amplifier / car alarm. So let me tell you something. The whole building would hear that thing if you did that. I made the mistake one day by not setting the thing. I walked, the thing just went off and just, wow. It was pretty funny. John, you never seen a James Bond film? Really? Come on now. Alfie Joe Bob, what's happening? Good to see you in there. Josh D says, about 45 of you guys, you need to hit that freaking like button. I say, hit it now, please. Bum bag and fanny pack. Fanny means something totally different. Yeah, exactly, John Jay. Bum bag, yeah. It's like, what was that other one too? Like word fags. You got a pack of fags, you know what I mean? It would be like totally different meaning, of course. At least back in the day. I don't know what they use that terminology now. But just weird things from around the world was great. Oh, that's not good, John. That's how you get yourself in trouble. You said, my wife is great alarm after reading my text. Not good. You get that rolling pin right across the forehead or right in the back of the head. Son of a... Alfie Joe Bob, thank you very much for your support, brother. I do appreciate you. Hiya! Is that the hiya meaning, martial arts kind of thing? Or is that hiya? Combination. Well, let's go with that. I appreciate it, man. I really do. That's awesome. John Chase says, hitting it now. John, he said, he's talking to Jean, he said, I get battered. Don't you hate that, though? But everybody likes a good beating, right? Left over from, ooh, that's not good, Pete. Talking to Josh. Grateful another year without full disclosure. Well, we're not through the year yet, right? But, yeah, I mean, they keep talking about, like, the government has, like, what are they calling it now? Some kind of department that's going to investigate UFOs. It's like, you're saying that to the public now, but you've known this for how long? I mean, this goes back probably 70 years, at least. And they're playing off like, oh my God, we have to really investigate the stuff what's really going on. And they knew this for how long? Come on. It's ridiculous. It really is. MG both, hold on, I just jumped on me at the same time. MG Toya said, there was both Spanish version of Bond and English version of Bond. Some of the same people were in both, i.e. Lardo. The Spanish version of Bond was cool as well. Huh, never seen those. Long Island, New York says, George Knapp needs to come on Mars Anomalies. Or I can go to him, whichever comes first, right? I wouldn't mind. Not at all. Alusta, what's happening? Hello, Chris, Jean, Renee, Joss, and to all. What's going on, man? Good to see you in there. Tim T. Girl says, need one of those robot cop alarms cages, them in the fries. Oh, that would be pretty funny, yeah. Uh-oh. John, you better watch yourself. You're going to get yourself in trouble, man. I like that. I only get a beating from my sister tied to the bed. Damn. That's not good. Or is it? Don't know, man. Not judging. MG Toe, yeah, you said Largo. Yep. I thought that's what you meant. Long Island, New York says it's a long, soft disclosure. Yeah, exactly. Greenleaf, I haven't seen you before. I guess you're new here. Good to see you there. Oops. Okay, there we go. This thing just jumped a little long. It wasn't too bad this time. Usually got to go back, back, back. Let's see. John Shea, he said, I thought by now every car would be like a crude version of Knight Rider. Yeah, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Don't get me wrong, the technology is like really jumping and everything else. But I mean, at what point, I mean, the only thing I can see is they're going to just like really perfect the, you know, self-driving car. Why they're trying to make it feel like it's a plush couch and everything else. So, yeah, so it's going to really make people want to fall asleep at the wheel and just let the car take the helm. And I just don't see that. A lot of these things are beta version, all this other stuff, they just don't, they get confused. It's a computer. What happens if it just glitches out one day? And you're driving along going, oh, this is nice. I'm just going to take a little nap. Let's say far in the future where it's completely supposed to be perfected. And you're just kicking back. And all of a sudden, boom, this thing just goes crazy on you. God only knows, right? I don't think that's good. And especially now, most of this stuff is in beta form. So it's really not even perfected. And you can see people like taking videos. You ever see that? Like on YouTube, you see these people like, they're like passed out on the driver's side, and the car's literally driving itself. It's a Tesla. What is wrong with people? It actually says beta form. You just don't do that. Even if they said, oh, we got it down, it's fine now, I don't care. I'd be like this. I'd be like literally nervous, especially in traffic. Now, even my car, as old as it is, it's a 2011, and it has lane assist, cruise assist. So I can literally just put on both of them, take my hands off the wheel, and it's funny because as soon as you start going out of the lane, it just brings you right back in. And of course, it, you know, when you're in cruise, it's adaptive cruise, so it slows down with the car in front of you, backs off, and then of course when the car speeds up in front of you, it picks up speed and it does all that. That's a 2011. You know, most people are like, yeah, I got this and that and the other. I went, so does it mine. Really? I was like, yeah. This is not it's not that new. Well, it's not like it's something new. It's been for a few years they've had it out. Crazy 2.0, is it? Did you just say that? It just jumped on me just when I was just reading you. Yeah, there you go. Crazy A 2.0. What's going on? Good to see you there. Waving the old hand. Excuse me. Oh, it's not good, John. You have to pay her. Damn. Mr. Seven Digit, do you look in the mirror and go, where was I? We'll bounce back. Just. Let me see. This thing jump on me? Oh, okay. Claire Mead, what's going on? You said, hi, everyone. What's going on, Claire? Good to see you in there. Oh, poet and didn't even know it. Let me see. Elaine M., one of my cats just brought me a glove. LOL, she brings me an old slipper too, but she never thinks to go back and get the other one. That would be pretty interesting, right? Get my slippers. Like a dog, just come over and bring it. That's funny. There you go, John. You say all you need is Will Smith to guard your car. Your big old hand just comes out and jab slaps you. Just slaps you right in the face. Step away from the vehicle. Keep your hand off my car. Kyle, you said, okay, I'm home, I'm safe, but my fingers will be greasy, so I cannot type a lot. It's like we had Pizza Hut today because there was a older woman. She's been in this job for like, God knows how long. And I think she just turned 63. And we had the pizza. I could have like literally wrung out the pizza and greased the door hinges of my car. That's how much grease come on. I said, good Lord, I don't remember them being that bad. Some other companies, they're kind of greasy as hell, but I didn't expect Pizza Hut to be quite that bad. Kyle, thank you very much for your support, brother. I do appreciate you, as always. Always a supporter of the channel. He said, Chris, loved the last video with the city behind the buttes in the background. Again, it fools you. You can see, like, remember, like, at the very base of these so-called buttes, it's all whited out, like a tannish, whitish kind of weird thing. And you can see, like, straight lines, looks like rectangular shapes. And when you start to bring a lot of this out, and I really didn't even really care about what was in the very valley. I cared about what was on the buttes itself, or what the buttes really are. And like I said, I'll stake my life on it. They're not buttes. There's no way they're buttes. And at the very least, they're building into them. That's pretty much it, into a butte. But either way, those are not just simple, natural mountains, hills, buttes, whatever. They're just not. And you can just tell just by looking at these photos. Photos tell it all. Again, you guys, you folks that are supporting the channel the way you are, I appreciate you. That's awesome. But, you know, it's like, and like I said, I always grab my magnifier to look at the photo to begin with. And that's long before I even take and start to rip the photo apart. I literally take it and I look around. Oh my God, look at that. I'm just like literally looking around and I can see this stuff. A lot of times, if you train your eye now, a lot of you folks have been saying, Chris, I mean, you got my eye trained now where I can literally just go over and look right at a photo immediately, and started doing the same thing. In other words, I take them, put them into their photo enhancement software and then rip them. And you literally could find some crazy stuff in there, right? And it's like, I'm glad that people have adapted their eyes to it. This is the reason why I tell people to watch the whole video entirely, because sometimes there's information I'll share with you. It's not just, you know, some people just want to go, because I had one guy say, just show the original enhanced, forget about the rest. Well, there's other information in there. It's not just about that. Although people would like to see that, you know, obviously click, there it is. But a lot of times there's information that I'm giving that helps you train your eyes to see what different things and how they're literally censoring out the photos, right? So it helps everybody. It's not just about just a quick, hey, listen, I have an attention span of 2 minutes, so can you hurry this up? I can't do it. You know what I mean? That's just not me, you know? Let me see. Turklerin, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Midwest Aerial Observation Expert. What's going on? Not sure what the 1111 is, but yeah, okay. Pura Vida. That was a... Yeah, there you go. YOLO. You only live once. Scratch, you said they have trouble disposing of the cars in some places. There's one country in Europe somewhere where thousands are just wasting away because they can't get rid of. Well, here's the thing. This is what I don't get. I don't care what company it is. We do it in here as well, like the stores. I don't care. It's anything from a grocery store to an electronics store to a vehicle, meaning automotive manufacturer, right? They would rather take thousands upon thousands of cars and just take them, stow them in a yard somewhere, in this big yard, nobody goes in and out, and just let them rot to pieces. Wouldn't it be better to just sell them at a discount rate and get rid of the cars than to let them just sit and waste away? Like a lot of the stores I know, what they'll do is they'll say, okay, we have to throw this food out. It's literally just going out of date today. What they'll do is to destroy it. I went, or you could we have like a box out in front of our store where it's like, just take what you need. So if there's something we have in the store, we'll take off the code itself on the back of the package. We'll take it off and we'll put it outside so people who need it can actually just grab it for the freebie. It just makes more sense to do that. But they go, no, we don't want anybody to have it, so go ahead and destroy that. I'm going, what's the point? So you'd rather waste the food away and destroy it than let somebody who's in need may need it. I don't get it. You know, I never did get that. Well, if we're not going to make money on it, then we don't need anybody getting it for the freebie. It's like, why does it matter? You're tossing it. I mean, oh my, it just, I don't know. Simply makes no sense to me. Rick, I like that. Just another Martian mess. Sure, NASA. Pull the other one. Yeah, pull my finger too. Oh, but I know. It's the craziness that you see happen, the way they're really censoring these photos, and they think, well, it's not that the average person's an idiot, because the average person just looks at the photo and goes, oh, that's fantastic. Look, pictures of another planet. Don't even think there's anything wrong with these photos. So is it their fault? Or have they been trained to just look at the photo and just, that's it, just move on? And it's not, well, I wouldn't even say trained, because really think about it. If you're just looking at a book and they happen to have a bunch of Martian photos, you'd probably just look at it because you just like everything about other planets. You know, maybe you're just into that and you just, oh, wow, that's cool. The pictures of Mars, this is neat. Oh, look at this. And it has photos of the Sojourner, the Spirit rover, the Opportunity, the Curiosity, the Perseverance. Wow, this is really interesting. And you just keep going over the photos. Never do people go, I think there's something fishy going on with that photo. It's almost like they just don't recognize what looks like a fake rock or a background that looks fake completely. Because even on I get if it's like yourself. Let's say you live you're on a flat plain and you got mountains in the background, right? You can almost see like rain, heavy rain coming, because you can see like a wall of water coming, right? Or snow. You can just see it's like fogged out and everything else. You can see it approaching. So I get that, but it's not going to be like that in every photo. Come on, you know, you'd have to see like hundreds of miles. Or if you're on a mountain, you can see at least 50 to 100 freaking miles away. Being high up, that is, right? With no cloudiness, fog, or anything of that sort. You should be able to see a good distance away, and yet on these photos, it's just never that way at all. I mean, you just have to say, I mean, something's fishy going on here. It just doesn't make sense. Ricardo, thank you very much for your support, man. I do appreciate it. Chris, just waiting for the gotcha. Since it's April Fool's Day. No, here's the weird thing. Nothing ever happened. Like, in other words, I didn't even have that pulled on me today. Either from work. Now, some other woman did, but in fact, that birthday woman. You said, you're going to tell us it's your final live hang? No. But now, well, how many people we got in here? Let me see. Let me see. Again, Ricardo, thank you very much. I appreciate you. But no, that's not, not yet. Kidding. Yeah, that's weird. So that just happened. John Laird just passed on, huh? I didn't know that. Wow. That's insane. Hate to hear that. He was doing some really good work. And the only guy I really trusted when he was doing real close-up of the moon, which is like insane, right? Yeah, really, really good. That's sad. Hate to hear that. John, you said, Chris, the car is so cheap, won't earn finance and insurance and spares. It's the old model plus rust. Well, I mean, I get that, but like a lot of cars, let's say, for whatever reason, you know, somehow the manufacturing, something went wrong with it. Maybe the car wasn't safe, so then make it safe. You know what I mean? But give it to the people. I love, like, here's a perfect example. Why is it that you can get a car in India for like $5,000 brand new? I know what you're going to say. It doesn't conform to U.S. standards, Canadian, whatever. I get that. They're cheese boxes, right? Let's be honest. But for somebody who's just traveling around from in the city, let's say they live in a small town, maybe they go to church, it's in town. They go to get their groceries in town, so on and so forth. Everything's within, let's call a 5-mile radius. And that's a good-sized town. I'm not talking about a city. So you can travel back and forth with no problem. Why junk the car when somebody else can use it? You can find these cars from India, Japan, these little cheap little cars, and it's a great thing to be able to do, although they need to make them more, you know, solid and more safe for like other countries, right? But other than that, what? Like, as a friend of mine, he lived in New Zealand. He's actually doing, he like builds his own electric car and everything else. So what he did, he's like, okay, so, well, now he's doing like videos where he's actually trying out different cars with different companies. He's showing them, you know, the specs, driving them, all kinds of stuff. He's doing videos like that, which is awesome. But you can literally take an old car, take the engine out of it, put an electric, you know, kit in it and everything else. It's ready to go. So why not reuse the car? Put the car to use. And he has one car that's from, I don't think it's from Japan, but anyway, this thing is like a 3-cylinder. And like most cars, it'll shut down at a light. Engine shuts off, starts back up. He says, it's not a powerhouse, but it's great for in town. It's 60 plus miles per gallon. Not diesel, gas. What's wrong with that? And if you've seen the car, you say, I'd drive that all day long. It's like me. If I was in a little small bubble, I wouldn't care. It would get me from point A to point B. And people go, oh no, but you get killed in that thing. Listen, I know a couple that my wife knew that they were doing some kind of something for charities. And what they do is they go to other states to pick up this stuff for these charity places, right? And full-size pickup. And the traffic all stopped. They stopped. 18-wheeler right behind them, killed them instantly. Just sandwiched them. So when it's your time, it's your time. Now, don't get me wrong. You want to, like me, I'm like this constantly. I'm looking in the mirror. I don't know how many times, at least 3 or 4 times, I had people come up behind me and almost slam me, and I just moved just in time. But you're going to have that when you're in the city, and it's very heavily populated. You're going to get that. But it just goes to show you, no matter what you're driving, you get killed in it. You know what I mean? So, but I think they should reuse these things. I really do. Maybe. People, please look at the pretty sand. Dan Martin says, NASA makes me sick. You're right about that. Marco Besti said, evening, Chris. Many governments are opening up on UFO file photos and even slow disclosure. Yet no government has admitted that ETs exist. What's up with that? It's almost like they don't want to be the first one to say that. They say, well, it could be otherworldly. Like one of the pages I have open here, they were basically saying that, I think it was like I think we've seen this because this was, I think, the end of last year, where they wanted to have this, you know, investigation, research kind of department or whatever. And what was funny about it is because they were saying 144 of the sightings, like only one could be like, we know what it was. So 143 of them, they don't know? Really? So what all of the stuff they've been doing since probably the 30s and 40s, they just don't have a clue what these things could be. You know as well as I do, if you're constantly looking out at the stars, like a lot of these places do, like, you know, observatories, whatever. Now, a lot of them are looking at planets, granted, but you're not going to tell me not seeing stuff zipping by, going up and down, moving around, and come on. You know as well as I do, the government's now just starting to open up to the public and trying to give them that soft disclosure in the event that something really does happen, because it seems to be like it's coming to to a point, so to speak, where it's going to happen. And they're just going, let's move these people along, get them adjusted to the fact that maybe it could be otherworldly, maybe it's not. Well, then if you're saying maybe it's not, then it's here on Earth. That's what people are going to think. So right off the bat, it's China, it's Russia, it's the United States craft, it's this. So it keeps everybody going, okay, you're saying disclosure, you got a big announcement from the Pentagon, and yet nothing's being said. Nothing. All you hear is a lot of but nothing's being said. You know, tell us the truth. We can handle it. We're all big boys and girls. Now, again, like I've always said, just let it out slowly out of the bag. I mean, you know, like I said, on Mars, well, we found a little bit of moss, this Martian moss. Okay, so there's a little bit of life there. So we do have microbial life, and we do have this. Okay, people can handle that as you're going along. Well, as we get into this more densely with more water in the area, guess what we're finding? More and more small growth, like I said, a little bit more moss and maybe little tiny plants. And we're finding that, wow, this is really interesting. Make them like, oh, wow, we're excited too. And then slowly work up to it. Why this constant barrage of BS is beyond me. It just, I don't know. 1 minute they're like, hey, we're going to tell you the truth. We decided not to. We're good. This thing just jumped on me, but I just seen somebody say, smoke them if you got them. Mr. James Gregan, thank you very much for your support, sir. As always, I do appreciate you. He says, Chris, I was telling Dave from Mars X3D the other night that you gave him a plug a few times on your channel, and he was praising you for a big time. Yeah, because I believe in Dave. Dave's a good guy, okay? I'll back anybody I believe is doing great work, and he does. And he's just a like I said, I've met him down in, I was going to say Arizona. When we were down at the Mars conference, like I said, when I went down there, first met him, I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. And he introduced, he's a big guy, he's kind of tall, rugged guy. And he had drove all the way down. I don't know if it was Iowa on his Triumph. I think it was a Triumph. He had a motorcycle. He drove all the way down there. I was like, good God. And he pretty much, I think he said he rebuilt it himself. Great guy. He's a good guy. He's funny. We like to have a great time. We all sat down for lunch after that, after the conference and everything else. It was just cool, you know. It was, let me see. Yeah, Thomas. Let's see. I think what else is there was about 4 or 5 of us. Thomas, Billy, Dave, myself, and there's a few others there. And I'm trying to remember because they were coming and going, so they weren't really sitting down at our table. But really, really cool. Really, really cool. Renee Cruz, what's going on? He said, I don't know, but can't remember. But I saw it when I first read it, when my mom died. Oh, I'm going to have to reread it again, back to cover, and find it, unless if it is on Google. Oh, okay. Not sure which one you're talking about, but yeah. Turklerin, what's going on? He said, if there's nothing to see, why send a drone to Mars and don't share any juicy videos? Yeah, I mean, and if you notice, they go, we're going to show you videos. No, they're not. They're just pieced together photos, and they just make them just running consecutive. That's it. There's no video, and you know as well as I do there are. And like I said, when you piece together these photos, and I've done that myself, and somebody else has done that. I had done that with the helicopter. With that, looks like something's flying around the actual helicopter. So it's either, and it looked like a pretty large, shadow to it. So makes you wonder, was this something that was a certain size, but because it was off the ground, it made it larger, and it looked like it was above the helicopter, but it looked like it was literally going around it and swarming the thing. So there's something else in the sky besides that helicopter, so I'm not sure what to make of that. To me, that just pretty much told me there was life on that planet. I mean, I don't know what else could be doing that in the photo. It wasn't like it was kind of like almost near the sun and got some kind of lens flare. It was nothing like that. It was literally a shadow. And you see it go out of the frame and like went around it, went above it. It was just weird. It's just weird. So something's there on that planet, and they're just going, we don't know what that is. Why do that? You know? Let me see. Like I said, James, thank you again for your support, brother. Like I said, yeah, Dave's a good guy. He's down to earth. He can, if you watch him, Mars X3D, yeah, just go check him out. He's a good guy, down to earth. Very brilliant guy too. If you watch him on the channel, you know he's been into quite a bit, right? He did a lot more than I've done in my life. Let's just put it that way. So, I mean, although I had a pretty full life, that's not the point. You know, he's pretty much he's been into everything. Dan Martin says they don't seem to understand that not everyone can afford an electric car. Well, see, this is what I was talking about, Dan, because a lot of them, like in these other countries, they make these little cheapy little electric cars for in town, right? So, in other words, for the American, it's worthless. Unless, of course, you live in a small town. Like I own one of the cheapest electric cars you can get. It's a Mitsubishi, right? And they call it iMev or iMev, depending on how you pronounce it. If you look it up, it's a 2005. They look like a little bubble on wheels, right? Cheapest thing. It's got plastic for door panels and stuff. But they didn't set out to have like fine Corinthian leather in the thing. It was made to be the cheapest electric car out there. I think, what was that thing going for? It was $26,000 original. We got ours a year later. So in other words, it's an actual 2004. Ours, we bought it in the end of December 2005. And I asked the guy, so why haven't you sold it? He says, everybody loves the car. The problem with it is this. The second we said it was fully electric, ooh, they backed off of it. It's not that they couldn't afford it. They were ignorant to it. And I don't mean in a mean way that they were ignorant. They just didn't know. So as he was talking to me about it, I said, yeah, I know it does this and this how much torque it has and horsepower on the motor. And so the other guy looks at it and he goes, looks like he knows more about the car than you do. And he's talking about the salesman. So he's telling him that. I said, I've done my research. I'm not just going to buy anything and not know anything about it. So for my lifestyle, it works. And believe it or not, like a lot of people are dogging these cars. Oh my God, only gets 325 miles. Big deal. Mine only gets 65. People go, what? What the heck would you want that for? It's in town. I bought it for in town. And I'd go everywhere. And I've been far away with this car too. And of course, this place you can plug in and everything if you had to. But I don't use it for that. I just drive around town, take my son to school, jump around, go here, go there, and it's in-town vehicle. What I mean by in-town is it could be anywhere between 5 and 10 miles. It could be 10 miles, could be 20-mile round trip, or 40 or 30, 40 miles round trip. It don't matter. I can still do it. The thing is, I bought it more for in-town, and then I got a hybrid. So if I want to do a lot longer travel, I can do that and not have to worry about, of course, running out of charge. Because people go, yeah, the damn thing will run out of charge. And no, it's like yourself. I asked a guy because he was like knocking it one time, and he says, well, what happens if you go long distance? I said, well, I'd make sure I can find charge points where I can do this. Because if I charge mine in what they call a CHAdeMO charger, I can charge it and it takes a half hour to charge it. In other words, I can sit there at McDonald's, because some of them have those. I could sit there just talking, chowing down. Half hour later, the car's charged. I can go. So I said, well, it's no different than you. Let's say you had to drive. You're in a big full-size pickup truck, and you have to drive, 100 miles. And you only have a 1/16 of a tank. Would you continue to do so, or would you fill up first? Okay, it's just common sense. It's really not rocket science. It's really not complicated. People just don't know the ins and outs, so they badmouth these things, right? You can buy an electric car, even the ones in India. Again, they're toys, but on the other side of the token, it's like, but they're made for in town. That's what people use those for. Japan, China, just little cheapy cars to kick around, get you from point A to point B, work and home. Perfect. Now, if you're on the road all the time, maybe you're a salesman or whatever, sure, you'll need something much bigger and something much better, right? So, like I said before, you get a car for your lifestyle or a truck for your lifestyle. Like me, if I went out and bought a full-size dually pickup truck, it would be totally worthless to me. I don't own a farm. I don't have a travel trailer that I tow behind. I don't have any of that, so I don't need it. It's completely worthless. So this is the reason why I try to adapt everything to my lifestyle, so that way they're cheaper, low maintenance, just the list goes on. So, yeah. It's funny, people scratch their head because I got on the back of my window, it says 100% electric. And the reason why I put that there is because when people see it driving around, they go, well, he doesn't seem to be having problems with it, so why should I worry about it? In other words, people should be more easy with it, Pete Ferreira said Tesla ran an all-electric car in the 1930s. No one listened to him. Yeah, I mean, it was really crude, right? It was actually pretty funny. But, and in fact, I think they had to take those batteries, just throw them out. They were like a one-time use. But in 1893, they came out with the, I think it was 82, 84, 1890, no, it might have been 82, no, I'm sorry, 1892 or 94. They had their first electric cars. And of course, they're extremely crude. And it's just like a neutral switch, clunk, clunk. There's drive, clunk, 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 and there's reverse. It was very crude. And I think you got like 25, maybe even 35, 40 miles out of them, which wasn't bad for back then. But it seemed to me, like I said, you had to trash the batteries. There was no recharging them at the time. But it's not like it was new technology. But now look at them now. They're like space age kind of thing going on, right? It's a great question, Scratch. You know, and this is what I'm talking about. It has to fit your lifestyle, right? Yeah, that could be an issue. That really could. Your question was well, you said not everyone can charge one either. How do you charge an electric car when you live in a terraced house with a pavement? Okay, like mine, I literally have a driveway right at the end of my house. So I built a wooden box, got the charger inside it, receptacle, everything inside it, wired it in. And it's literally, I take the cord out and I plug it in like you would do your phone at night. Now, I don't charge mine every night. I don't need to do that. But just charge it, leave it alone, charge it overnight, go out in the morning, unplug it, and go. And I might have to do that once a week in the warmer temperatures. Sometimes in the wintertime, you got to do it twice because it's a little hotter on batteries. It's kind of like your car. You get crappier gas mileage in the wintertime than you do in the summertime, right? So, you know, you got the condensed air. You know, cold air is more condensed and heavier, so it's a little hard to you know, burn fuel and everything else. But regardless of that, you know, regular combustion engine cars are not much better in the wintertime. They use more fuel as well. So, let me see. Stephen Porter, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Let me see. He said, good evening, Chris. I just got home from work, now enjoying a large glass of red and watching your stream. Well, I appreciate it, man. Good to have you in there. Let me see. Stone Rabbit says, I see people talk about electric cars like they're something new. I've seen photos of Ford factory full of electric cars. Yep. Charging in the 1930s. Absolutely. You've seen that, right? They're all like lined up and they got the cords going right into the floor. I know exactly what you're talking about. Well, the technology as far as, you know, the way to control, we're going to call the word electrons because electrons, that's what you're doing. So everything is controllers and, you know, inverters, you know, DC to DC, all this other crap, the way it's all built. It's all high tech compared to the crude back then. But you're right. Absolutely right. Back in 1892, 94, they come up with the first electric car. So yeah, I mean, it's nothing new, but people just wanted to, basically say, well, electric cars are trash. But here's the thing. I'm trying to remember what was said about one guy was saying. He would argue with you tooth and nail. In fact, my neighbor was like, he's got a F-350. Trying to remember if he's got the 6.7 diesel in it. Trying to remember if that's what he's got in his. But anyway, this thing is huge, absolutely huge, right? I said, Woody, how much energy do you think it takes to build that truck? How much metal is in that truck? I'll bet you got 4 times the metal in that truck than I do in my car. Where's all that coming from? And then of course, yeah, I know, but yeah, it takes more energy to build that darn thing than it does my car. Of course, they go back to the lithium batteries. Absolutely true, though. You know, this is what they have to remember. They're trying to go to solid state, which uses like very minimal, you know, lithium at all. And of course, they're trying to just do away with them, period. So And I don't blame them. To me, that's a crappy way to go with those things. But they do reuse them. You go to other countries like in Europe, they actually, you can, like, what is it, the Renault, and they got the little Renault Twizzys, they got all these weird little cars. And a lot of these cars, when you get, I think it's a Renault, where you buy the car, but then you have to pay for a monthly battery change. So once you do that, you go and you exchange it. They just literally take the battery out and they put another one in. You're on your way. So whatever they do, I forget exactly how they work it, but either way, they're just they refurbish them. You know, they totally drain them out the proper way and recharge them. They refurbish them and they try to reuse them constantly as opposed to trashing them, which makes more sense. And if you're lucky to have enough money to be able to, you know, have a solar setup to charge your vehicle, it's even better. You know, less chance of being on the grid, and which a lot of people argue. You know, it's just so many ways, right? Jean Ward, your question was, what's your take on James Webb targets being kept secret? I said this, I think, last Hangout, Jean. I said, you can guarantee they'll probably see Dyson spheres. They'll probably see things flying around. They can probably, you know, because again, it's infrared and different other, you know, levels and stuff like that, just different modes that they're using. Let me tell you something, they're going to see things that are astronomical. And you can almost bet that the Hubble has already seen plenty of that. Now they're going to see it with great detail, and of course they're not going to share that with us, but they can get an idea probably what's in our neighborhood now. And when I mean neighborhood, we're talking about millions of light years out, right? So they're going to see with utmost clarity. And like I said, you know, different spectrums they're going to be looking out at the great divide, we'll call it the great, what do you call it, universe. So you know as well as I do, they're seeing crazy, crazy things. But they're going, okay, there's X amount of light years away. We don't have to worry about them. We're good. And they could probably even pinpoint it. They're like, oh, they're just a civilization just starting off, so we don't have to worry about them. They're not a threat to us. I mean, they probably have this all worked out. They probably already know all of this. And I understand. It's kind of like on a small level, we're looking at Mars, right? They're saying we're looking for any building blocks of life, when in fact we know there was life on that planet. It's kind of like they're doing now on a grander scale, where they're saying, well, we may be able to see things out there that, you know, we're going to see how, if we can reach out to the outer limit of the universe, as far as at the end of all these planets where they end, we could probably do that. No, you won't. It's void. It's just, it's so vast, your brain even can't wrap itself around it. It can't comprehend that. Like I said, I use the analogy like, if you walk straight in a line, get up right now, walk straight in a line, you're going to fall over something or run into it, meaning walk into a wall or whatever. In our minds, we know we have limitations. What if you could go out and just keep flying through space and it doesn't end? Get your mind to wrap around that for a moment. There's no end, period. Even if you could go past where all of the planets expanded out in this great expanse, you would still, it'd be void, it'd be blackness. There is no end. It doesn't go and hit a wall and you're done. Oh, that's it. I guess this is the end. I don't think they're ever going to find that. And that's what's crazy. There is no end. So I think there's much more out there. We're just a universe this big compared to like thousands and millions of universes. I don't know. It's probably multi, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. But I think they're going to do that. I think they'll start to come out with things like, hey, we found another planet that's very habitable. That's a lot like Earth. You'll hear a lot of that going on, but you're not going to hear, oh, we found another civilization or X amount of them. They're not going to say nothing. They won't say a word. You're going to start seeing over the course of years, oh, we've seen a star. We're going to probably send a probe there just to look at it. Nothing special. But they're really actually going there because they know there's something there or was something there. Guarantee it. And I'm sure that James Webb is probably capable of much more. It probably can receive radio signals as well, and not just light and different spectrums. You could bet this thing can probably do anything. And, you know, they're going to be monitoring all that. It's kind of like a SETI, only way out, like, what is it, 100 million miles away? Is that what it is from Earth, guys? So you know as well as I do. These guys are not stupid. Come on. And they've been building this thing since what? Was it 2019? No, I'm sorry. No, I'm not. No, I'm sorry. It was like 2009, wasn't it? I know they started this thing really early. It's like a 20-year build. So, come on. Then they know what's going on. I don't know if it was 2000. I forget what it was. It was like a 20-year build anyway. So it was like 2000, somewhere in there. But you know, like I said, as well as I do, these guys know what they're doing. They're not stupid. they're just going to leave us in the dark, as always. But like I said, you'll start to hear more and more about, oh, we just found a cluster of planets and solar systems that could definitely harbor life, and you're going to hear a lot more of that. But will you ever hear, oh yeah, we found an actual civilization? Probably not, because they'll investigate it first before they do anything else. Why? If you're the first one to see this, it's kind of like on the moon. What are you going to do? Send a probe. So get a probe out there first, do a recon over to that planet, and then bring back the information. Then you can say, oh, we found a planet. Yeah. And they're still not going to tell you anything of any value. I almost guarantee it. There we go. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Dan Martin says Alpha Centauri is 6 years. Yeah, I mean, they've been, I don't know if they ever sent probes there, but if they haven't told us, you can bet they have. Because it's almost like they, you know, if they've looked at it with the Hubble and they've seen, okay, yeah, there's a probability we probably have that planet can harbor life or at least sustain life. Let's send a small probe there. I mean, what happens if you send something just very small and it doesn't cost you maybe quarter the amount as you would a full-size probe, right? So we don't know. You don't know what these guys are sending out. It could be like all kinds of probes being sent out. We wouldn't even know it. Nuclear powered, you know, so once it gets boosted out into orbit, rendezvous with the planet, it's radioactive or I should say it's got a radioactive power supply. It can send information back. It can be hidden behind a planet or a star, well, by a big planet, and then it's between planets. Doesn't have any sun at all, and still be able to transmit information back due to being a power supply of a nuclear power pack as opposed to solar, right? So yeah. Great for all says SETI's a joke. Yeah, they're a joke. They play off like they don't know what's going on either, right? Yeah, you know, someday we'll find it. Bull. I can almost guarantee they've heard civilizations out there and they're just not going to say anything. And they can probably gauge just how far the civilization is away. They probably can gauge from what they said in their transmissions. Like I said, one of them, I suppose at one time, was saying, hey, please help us. It was like a distress call saying, please help us. We've ruined our own planet. Somebody help us. We're dying or whatever. So we don't know what that was all about. For all we know, that story could have been around for, who knows, 100 years, and it's just now surfacing, and that could have been Mars. Who the hell knows? Here we go. Look what we're seeing on Mars. Mars, the second Genesis. What's going on? Good to see you in here. Mimi reacts, great, yeah, you're right about that. He said maybe the other civilizations don't want to be known. Yeah, they'd probably rather hide themselves because maybe, well, two things would happen. One, they're probably thinking there may be life out there, kind of like us. And then some of them are going, yeah, we already know there's life out there and we'd rather be hidden from them. You know, maybe they build in ways that they can be camouflaged. So even if you could send a probe and look down, you wouldn't see anything. Maybe they live underground and you'd never see them. They're like ants underground. You'd never see them, right? So unless, of course, they're using some kind of radar, ground penetrating radar or something like that, you'd never see them. Like you said, maybe they don't want to be found. And wouldn't blame them, especially if they know there's other life forms out there, right? Jean Wood, yep. Microwave reception will be possible with web. Yep. Crazy A 2.0 says they want to see the beginning, the Big Bang, and God. Yeah, well, here's the thing. The beginning is in the center of the universe if we go by the Big Bang. So if we were to look at that, we need to find the beginning, like you're saying, we need to go out. Okay, but how do we know how far out is? So even if you could find the end, again, let's say you shoot a rocket or a spacecraft that goes out past the beginning of the planet. So in other words, there's all the planets, and then of course you can just take it looks like a giant disk, right? And you're looking down, there's the center of the Big Bang. It all goes outward, you got red drift, it goes outward. You're out here. You're looking out here. What difference would it make? You're still out in space. And I don't think it's going to end, to be truthful with you. I think it's going to continue on. You're going to see other universes, multi-universes, or you're just going to see more and more and more solar systems. I don't think it stops, because one paper I read says they think that the Big Bang is a random actual act. So in other words, it's happened more than once. It's kind of like dropping little pebbles in a lake, right? It could be just more than one, and we're seeing that. We'll have an overlap of universes. So who knows? You know what I mean? I don't think we truly know. I think we're just, like I said, we're just learning to walk, so to speak. Even with the high technology we have, we still just don't quite understand the full complexity of our universe. I think we're learning, and I think we know quite a bit about it, but we got a long way to go. And that's why they continue to make these spacecraft to see further and further out so we can get these answers, right? Eric Gower, good comment. He said, if they tell us anything, they've already investigated and know all about it. Almost guarantee it. Nick Savage, what's going on? Good to see you there. Said they built Webb to examine stars reputed to be origin of some of these alien visitors. The farthest probes are Voyager 1 and 2. Yes, exactly. Now, they can travel these things, you know, like you said, when you're talking about the Voyager 1 and 2, they're way out there. They're exo solar system. They've been that way for years, right? At some point, they'll crash into something. It'll be just junk. Or we just won't be able to communicate with it anymore. Now, I know recently, within the last few years, they were able to communicate again with it and able to get some information back. So if you're just cruising through space, what is it that what information are they getting back? Oh, there's another giant planet. Okay, there's another giant planet. You know as well as I do, Hubble can see long or really past what the Hubble's even been. I mean, I'm sorry, what the Voyager's been. Way past that. So why are we having a spacecraft just going through there? We're just hoping to find maybe a civilization out there, go by a planet. We can actually, scan it, so to speak, with our equipment and see if there's civilization there. I don't know. I mean, we could pretty much do all of that now, just right here at home. But if you have let's say, a radio receiver type thing on these other Voyagers and stuff, would they sense it and then relay the message back? How do we know they haven't? That's what I'm saying. We just don't know. We can only go by what they're telling us because there's no way we can vet anything they're saying. Well, as a second Genesis, you said, if anyone knows a wee alien with a speedy flying saucer, I would appreciate a ride to anywhere but this nut house of a planet. You got that right. Stop the planet. I want to get off kind of thing, all right? I hear you. Believe me. John Sharp says, we are the aggressive zoo. We are that aggressive. That's a fact. Let's Get It Known says, we are never going to know. It's crap, but it's how they shaped it. Well, pretty much. Absolutely. Eric Gower said the CIA admitted that they used astro technology to see what was out there. We are not alone. Oh, it's like anybody with a half a brain nowadays know we're not alone. I mean, if they've done any research themselves, sometimes you could take a different path of research and find this out for yourself. You don't even have to be looking at photos and just know that. Some people go, no, that's it. We're just the only ones. Okay, I mean, listen, it's your decision to say what you want, but I don't think you could be any more wrong if you think we're the only existence around, right? Ricardo Petrozzi, what will happen to Voyager spacecraft? Think Star Trek, the motion picture. Yeah, I know. Remember they called it Vija? That was pretty funny. It was like in a crater, I guess, where it landed. Remember that? And you can hear the woman, this is Vija. And I'm like, and she was like bald-headed woman or whatever. If that's the one you're talking about. But that was funny because they kind of like dusted it off and it said Voyager on it. And it actually became like a life form type thing. Really weird. Corey said we can go to an army base and video them, but can't get inside without getting effed up. Might be the same with the aliens. They don't really want to test us. True, but I mean, if they've already been observing us for quite some time, they're probably going, oh, that's sad. Look how weak they are. You know, they have these cute little firecrackers that go off and they blow up buildings and stuff like that, where they have something to probably just completely annihilate a planet within nothing, you know. Of course, that might be my sci-fi brain talking, but who knows, right? Yeah, and they also said, Eric, they even said it's definitely away from the grasp of our sun or our star, its gravitational pull as well. This is the reason why it's really accelerating. Like you're saying, Voyager 1 and 2 busted through some kind of barrier where the solar wind speed changed drastically. Yeah, what it is, they said something about the actual outreach of the gravity of our star, and all of a sudden just started picking up speed. So that's pretty insane. Nick Savage says they have some evidence our universe is a big bubble, one of endless bubbles of universes. The evidence is from our bubble colliding with another, leaving a spot where the hit and bounced. Well, I mean, like they're saying now that there's like multiverses, right? And even if it's not like some weird like stacked kind of thing, it just goes on. Even if there's a void between another universe, it's still get out of ours and then you're into another. Or do they just say, oh, the universe is what we see now? That may very well be. But that doesn't mean once we clear all of the planets from the expansion, from the Big Bang, doesn't mean it's not going to be something other than that. They may eventually collide with another one that expanded, because they say it's random. These things happen at random times. Wait a minute, these things. So it's more than one Big Bang. So we're just starting to understand, folks. You know, they just don't know. Oh, Ricardo, yeah. Be sure to do the... Yeah, I can tell you guys right now. Here's the thing, as far as what's going on. There's changes in my job where they're having... The owner of my place bought another building. So now I'll be working different hours. I'm going to be sent over there, which I don't care to do in a way, because in fact, I think I kind of like it because it's really complicated. But the way they... It's a smaller store, and this is sad. The owner was an older gentleman, and he was like, yeah, I want to sell because, you know, I want to spend some time with my grandkids and everything else. And it was a day later. He literally died in the store. So they were literally writing up everything, you know, finalizing everything. This poor guy passes on right in front of his wife, right in his own store, right? So I was like, oh, my God, that's sad. So what happens is, like a couple weeks later, they hear, oh, the store's been bought by somebody else. What do? They start ripping the store off. I'm like, oh my God, please tell me you're kidding. So you have great respect for this guy that owned the store, because he was basically obviously the owner, but then he was like some kind of, well, he's the manager, and he was basically the do-all, right, of everything in the store. And then, of course, he had the regular workers. Well, you know, so then now everybody's in a panic. Oh, the store's being sold, so, you know, we're not going to have our jobs and everything. So they decide to start stealing. I'm going, wait a minute. Even if that was true, the new owner wanted to make a parking lot out of it. I don't care what they wanted to do with it. The point is, it's like, if you had that much respect for the man, why would you do that? I'm going, that's crazy. So like 7 people got fired. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start working that, not this week coming up. Not this week, but the following week I'll start working out. But the difference is the hours are different. Like I would go into this job at about 5 in the morning, get out maybe 12 o'clock. Now this place don't open until 8, so I'll probably go down maybe 6 or 7 and get out at 2 or 3. So it's really going to play havoc with making videos. So I'm like, okay, so how can we do this? What would be the best way to do this? I still believe in having the Hangouts, but I still think I could do like a good couple videos a week. If we can get squeezing 1 or 2 of them, a good couple of them anyway. So we're going to have to see how this works out and then roll with it that way, right? So, you know, I like doing these things, so I don't want to just say no. You know, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to feel this out and see how it works out because, like I said, I'm not even in the joint yet, right? In fact, me and the owner were actually talking about, you know, obviously different pay and different stuff like that and being the head guy in there. So I want to see what happens. You know, they don't have anybody in there. It's like a free-for-all because it's a small store, like I said. It's probably quarter the size of what I'm in. So we're going to see what happens and get the particulars on that. And, you know, then, of course, I'll start working there. And there's another person going there from the store. It's going to be the actual store manager. So that plus, you know, I'll be head of the rest of it. So we're going to see what happens. We'll just see how the hours play out, and we'll go from there. It's like I told my wife, I don't want to stop doing these. I enjoy doing these, you know, and especially it's my pastime. And I don't mind making the videos. It doesn't bother me. So, but like I said, I was actually at one point, because like I said, when I had COVID and I was home, I was making more videos. Hell, I was knocking out like 4, maybe almost 5 a week. And then I was like, well, I got to get back to work. Got back to work, and I was like way down on these. I'm like, I wish I could have stayed there. But like I said, they're suppressing. You know, obviously I got to make an income from this if I'm going to stay home, right? So if you can't do that, what do? There's just no way around it. You got to go back to work. So, and I don't have a problem with that. You know, I don't care to work. But the thing is, it's like, I would have preferred doing this. So, like I said, I still like to do a few on the side, and I don't have a problem with that. But literally, I'm seeing, like, a lot of these channels, including Dave's, a lot of people are being stifled, man. They're really being held back. They're being throttled back and stuff like that, and it's not right. They claim that they're not doing it, but you know as well as I do they are. I mean, look at it. The subscribers been stuck on 66.9 since Christ was born. Come on. Something's majorly wrong. I would literally gain, no word of a lie, go back a couple years, 50, 100 subscribers a day. And it was going right up. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. Then all of a sudden, it just got stalled. Or it's just the people, like I said before, I told you guys that there was they said 35,000 people watch videos and they weren't subbed. I'm going, what is the point? You know, if it's something it's remotely interesting to you, why would you not sub to the channel? Even if you go, just watch it once in a while, click. I mean, it's not costing you anything to subscribe to the channel, so why not just do it? It just makes more sense to me, right? So the more subscribers, the better I feel, because I want to get this out. I want more and more people to see this, but you're being stifled, so how do you do that? You just can't do it, man. There's just no way around it. So you're at the mercy of these people, and there's not much you can do about it. So it's like, okay, so it's stifling any kind of thing any kind of money you could possibly make on the channel. So yeah. So obviously I said, well, I'll just go back to work. I don't have a problem. I feel better now. I'm good. Back to work, you know. But then it kind of screws with the channel. So I'm going to see how it works out and just go from there. So like I said, I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. I'll let you know what's going on. But it sucks, you know. Josh D says, just roll with it, providing for your family comes first. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, at one point, believe it or not, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I could make a little bit more here on this channel than I could make in my job. It's pretty sad. It's basically minimum wage over here, and only because the last owner was like, he was so tight he squeaked when he walked. So it was pretty sad. It really was sad. So this guy comes around, this new owner, and everybody's thinking, oh my God, it's the end of the world. And he starts handing out raises and everything else. Everybody's like, oh, this guy's not half bad. So imagine that. So, you know, you get a decent raise, not going to complain, and okay, everything's starting to look up. But then, like I said, this other, store opens up. I'm like, good opportunity to get in on it. So I talked to the owner and I said, yeah, I said, just let me be head guy, and I promise you won't hear another thing walk out of that store. I'll just tell people right out. You steal something, you're getting arrested, or you're getting your ass kicked out the door. One of the two. That's pretty much it. So that's the way that shit's going to be handled. So he's got a lot of things. He just bought, good God, he's going to have like 16, I think it's like 16 stores by the end of this year. And by next year, he said he wants to have 20. I'm going, good God. Oof. Let me see. Oh, this thing just jumped on me again. What the frig? Let me see, let's go back down here. Ricardo said, fair enough, Chris. Hope you work out a new schedule routine for the channel then. You can count on our continued support. Oh, no, Ricardo, listen, you guys are awesome. I have no doubt of that. I really don't. It's just like I'm trying to, because I enjoy doing this stuff. I want to keep doing it. So it's just going to have to, I just got to see how this is going to fall in. Because like I said, when I got home at around 12-ish, not too bad, right? You got the afternoon to make a video, knock it out, and upload it in the evening. No problem, right? And before, like I said, when I wasn't working, I was able to do these during the day. So I could knock out one a day, and plus we'd have the Hangout. Well, now that you're back to work, now it's weird hours. It's more set in the middle of the day. It becomes a problem. So, like I said, it doesn't mean I won't be able to make them. I won't be able to make these things, but we're going to just feel it out and see what happens. But definitely going to keep doing the live feeds. Those are awesome. I love doing these. So, but even then, it would have to be probably on a weekend because if you get out at 3, don't get home until 4, again, creates a problem. So, but we'll figure out something else. I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to see where it ends up and how it works out. And then we'll see how the pieces fall, right? That's all we can do. Steve Garnham, what's going on? You said my birthday yesterday and I got COVID. Oh, that ain't good, but happy birthday anyway. Not that part's going to make you happy, but yeah. One day older and wiser. Nick Savage, he says, it's about revenue. YouTube is ripping people off, not at first, but now. Yeah, but the weird thing about it, like I said before, it's kind of like they're literally running ads on your channel because that's what you choose to do. Now, you can either, if you're an uploader, you can either, you know, monetize or not. You know, the thing is, it's like, it's not even, it doesn't even help them by, you know, basically stunting your channel because their ads are on your videos. So it's like, I don't get that. But it's almost like some kind of other suppression. They're like, yeah, that kind of falls in the kind of conspiracy, and who cares? There's a lot of sci-fi stuff on what do you call it, on YouTube. Why not just let people go with it? Now, I know they were a little hard on people saying, you know, like these weird conspiracies, like, you know, Kennedy and 9/11 and all this other stuff, and, oh, it's misinformation, this, that. But this is like, it's basically opinions on these videos, right? We're just showing you what's in them. What's harmful about it? Nothing's harmful about it. So that's why I don't understand why you could be put in the same category, you know, especially if you can actually, you know, can actually show things with facts. So I don't know, but it's not the first time this has happened. Just trust me, you know, it's not the first time this has happened where, you know, channels have been, you know, stuck and stunted growth and all this. It just happens, you know. And I'm sure even Jean is feeling that a little bit. I guarantee his channel should be growing a lot faster. And like I said, I try to send people his way because I know what it feels like to be stunted where you cannot grow. You want to. It's like a passion. And I know Jean's a lot like this. It's like I want to just share it with people because it's something I like doing. And I know it's the way he does it. He just likes looking at these things, finding it, showing it to the people. Now, whether he chooses to monetize or not is his business. But the thing is, it's like it's something you enjoy doing. And I don't see it as a problem if you say, hey, I think I'm going to monetize because I do put some time into these videos. They shouldn't stunt your growth in it. It makes no darn sense, right? It really doesn't. 786 Auto, what's going on? Good to see you in there, brother. He said, we love you, Chris. Well, I love all you guys. You guys are awesome, man. I've always said that. So, yeah, I mean, we're just going to see how the chips fall, right? I was thinking about this too, and I'm saying, okay, when can we do that? Maybe we could find something that prior evening when I come home, and then make one for tomorrow, the next day when you come home, and make out a video. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Maybe it'll turn out it won't have to work that many hours, and it'll be even better. You can just come home at a lesser time, meaning shorter, and maybe come home at around 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and then just be the same way I am now. I just have to travel further, right? To my job right now, it's like 6 minutes. 6 minutes. There's about half hour. So that's because it's traffic. It's like the road goes, let's see, 45, 55, 45, 35, 25, and then it goes back up to 45. It's just weird, the speed limits. But that's exactly how they're going. And you know, from one stretch of the road to the other till you get there. So it kind of sucks, but you know, I am driving something that's fuel efficient, so you know, you just go with it and that's it. But I told him I won't go there unless I'm getting more scratch. You know what I'm saying? So So, nope, not going to go unless I get more money. I appreciate that, Ricardo. He said, happy to become a patron subscriber and chip in a few every month to keep the channel going. I mean, I think you could still do the same thing with PayPal as well, couldn't you? I know they can, I know you set it up on, what do you call it, like you said, Patreon, where it can just be, I don't know if it's being taken out or whatever every month. I don't know how that even works, to be truthful. Like I said, I set one up, I think it was 2017. Just never made it public. I just said, and I just never went with it. So, and because they were doing this, you know, they started monetizing. Well, I started monetizing my channel. So it's working out okay. So I'm not really worried about it too much. Make a little extra cash on the side, and that was pretty much it. So, you know, so that just went with it. I just never really made it, basically, live. But like I said, if you guys wanted to, like I said, PayPal works too. I mean, I greatly appreciate it. It does help the channel. And you know what I mean? To be truthful, like I said, I would have rather done this. And depending on how things go, and I'll be honest with you, the new manager in this place right now, I don't know if he's just bipolar. I'm not making fun of bipolar. I'm just saying that one minute he's your buddy, he's chum, he's laughing with you. Next minute, oh, why aren't these people working? Blah, 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 blah. He's just all, it's just too much for me. You know, I don't care because, like I said, I can always, if I really wanted to really plug and try to do these, and I can make similar to what I'm making at work, you know, so not a big deal, you know, but, you know, it's like you just got to figure, you got to get the one that's more consistent pay, so to speak, and the other one could be gravy. Well, at one time, doing this was gravy, and that was, my regular work was actually just the extra. Well, you know, now it's the other way around, it's flipped. So, you know, obviously, family first, got to pay the bills, right? Dan Martin, you said you are so good at what you do. I hope you're always around. Well, I mean, like I said, I'm going to figure out one way or the other, right? To still interact with everybody, whether it's live feeds and try to do videos and stuff like that. Because it's something, like I said, I like doing it on my pastime. It's basically, believe it or not, if I'm just sitting around, I just feel like I should be doing something. You know what I mean? I should be doing something. I'm going. So if I'm not doing the videos, I just get like itchy because it's something I do. It's my pastime. It's like a hobby, right? It's something you just enjoy doing. So if you're not doing it, it just sucks if you're not. So, yeah. MG Toady said, did they offer you more money or tell you to go to hell? No, I mean, right now, I just actually talked to him today because I was waiting for him to come back. He's not in the store all the time exactly, and what I mean by that is the owner. And so I talked to him, and he's like, he's in agreement with a lot of stuff. Yeah. He said, because here's the weird thing. The store is so small that they said, well, we really don't have any head guys. I said, here's the problem with it, though. I said, you have no structure in that place. There's going to be too many chiefs, not enough Indians. And, you know, the new manager is coming from our store going there as well. So I said, let's put this thing in check, get the new people hired, let's get it done. And I said, we'll just go through the whole store. And of course, he's going to have to revamp the whole store. I think the thing's been around since the 60s. Let's just put it this way. You feel like you're a rat or a mouse in that store. It's just the aisles are not just straight. You feel like you're walking through a maze. It's just ridiculous. It's as dark as a dungeon. It's just crazy, right? So, you know, they're already in the process of putting up new lights and all kinds. They're just going to go through the whole thing. So they got this older building that's next to it. They're going to knock it down, make a bigger parking lot. It's just a lot of stuff they're going to do to it. So, it's kind of like, you know, going in on entry, meaning you can like help them build the company or that particular store just by being there. So yeah, I'm just, you know, I'm going to get this final thoughts on it probably today or tomorrow. Well, not today, but tomorrow or maybe Monday. So we'll see what happens. Show us the mean green. Your Highness, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Taff Baker, what's going on? Haven't seen you in a while, man. How you been? I did check out that last photo you sent me. I think you've seen, was on Messenger, I think it was. I did see it. That's pretty cool. I haven't really looked at a whole lot of anything, truthfully. And like I said, you've just heard me describing what's been going on lately with job situation and stuff like that. So things are opening up, but things could be like getting shifted around at the same time. So I'm trying to see where all of this will kind of shuffle and fall into place. So, you know, we'll just see what happens. You know, it's something I don't want to stop doing, that's for sure. And the other thing is if they told me, well, you know, we can't do that, well, then keep the store to yourself. That's the way I look at it. Because they said, listen, I'm going to travel a little bit more. You got more wear and tear. You're using more fuel. You know, so on and so forth. I'm not just going to keep the same pay. I'm not doing it. Because even if they say, well, we might be able to give you an extra dollar. Okay, well, most of that dollar bill is going to be sucked up by the fuel cost, which in a sense is, I guess, is not bad because you're still keeping your regular pay. This is just going to offset your fuel. So, whatever. So, I think that's what's going to end up happening to start because, you know, it's just still like they still have to dot some I's and cross some T's and stuff like that as far as the very finalization of the store. So, so that's where it basically stands. It's kind of this up in the air thing right now, right? Valerian, the Mac 3, what's going on? He said, what does it say? Schumer Raz and solar flares whoop my ass. Huh. Well, I hate when that happens because we've been getting bombarded with a lot of solar flares, haven't we? It's pretty crazy. Maybe you said that's how my ex-boss behaved. Yeah, it's just, I think he is because even Valerian, you're saying, is he bipolar? Yeah, I mean, it was just weird. Like today, he was just like, everybody's like laughing and joking with everybody, yeah, having a great time. And then all of a sudden it starts barking out orders and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? And he's been doing a lot of crazy things. And like he'll say something to me and, you know, I'm actually older than he is by about 5 years. And I just basically look at it, I see right through him. You know, I've seen people like that come and go. I don't give a shit. But he's got this, oh yeah, I'm going to take care of business up in here kind of attitude. It's like, you know what? I can appreciate, you know, the owner passes down what he wants done. You're the manager. You have to correct that. You have to do that. So, so I get that, but do it in a professional manner. You know what I mean? I need you to do this for me. I need you to do this. Please take care of that. Blah, 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 blah. You will not be coming in late anymore, so on and so on. You can be firm without being a tool. So that's the way I look at it. But he comes off as a total jackass, and at times, some days you'd sit there and you say, oh my God, this is a great guy. He really is. And then next minute, you know, if he fell off a cliff tomorrow, I wouldn't care. So it's that kind of weird thing. It's like, so your emotions are kind of up and down about him. You can't trust the guy, right? So, yeah. Corey said, ha ha, we say friggin' in England, friggin' hell. Oh, yeah. Well, you're trying to be nice about it in case you do have younger people watching this, and some people don't want to hear, you know, explicit language, so to speak. So you try to be nice about it, but if we're in person, yeah, I don't have any problem barking it out. But you know, I try to be cool on here. It doesn't make you look cooler or stronger or anything of that sort, you know. It just, but sometimes you just get frustrated and you just want to say it. But yeah, Whitebeard Sky Daddy, what's going on? It's good to see you in there. Hola. Let me see. Well, it's like Valerian, you said, as long as you get paid, your paycheck. And it's true. I mean, here's the thing. You know as well as I do, everybody here is not stupid. I mean, you got to put food on table, pay the taxes, feed the family. We all know that. It's common sense. So you got to go where the money is and where it's going to be consistent, right? So, and that's the whole point. I told them, because they were cutting back hours in the job too, I'm like, listen, this can't happen. So this is the reason why I want to get on board over there, because then I could be head leader, and of course you get 40 hours or plus. So you wouldn't care even if you only put 35 in. Who cares, right? The point is, as long as you get it done, the owner's happy with you, everything's hunky-dory. But, you know, if you're going to start cutting hours, you're going to act like a total ass cake, you know, it's just not going to happen. You just can't work that kind of job. Who knows? I might just give them all the burden is, that's it. Go back to doing this. I don't care. One way or the other. I don't care. Eric Gower, you make a good point. You're talking to Jean. I don't know why this is hidden, but probably because you said asshats. But anyway, he said, honestly, Jean Wood, I probably would have deleted YouTube by now if it weren't for you guys. Great tool, but the platform is run by asshats. Yeah, and unfortunately, you're right. It's like, you know, just they control everything, and you have nothing you can say about it, right? I don't know where that came from. Long Island, New York. Gang banging aliens. Okay. Reverend Gravel, what's going on? Good to see you there, man. Good to see you. Hi, Chris, just joined. Hope you're well. Hi, everyone. What's going on, Mervyn? Good to see you in there. Sky Blue, what's happening? He said, congrats on the new gig. Well, we're just going to see. We're just working it out with the owner. Because I've learned already that, and this guy's probably only been here a month, this new manager. And what I find interesting is that, you know, he's basically an asshat. I said, listen, I don't want to talk to him. I want to go straight to the owner. Owner is just cool as hell. I said, I'd rather talk to you. And he goes, yeah, he seems to be overstepping his boundaries and stuff, but he's the only guy at the time to get in here. But he says, but I do have a regional manager he'll put him in check. I said, yeah, it's good because he doesn't understand his popularity is going, his nose diving. It's one thing to have, you know, he likes to joke around people, and then all of a sudden he's like super firm. And it's like he's just like, oh, I'll just start firing everybody. He just goes off. What he needs to be doing, like he said he was like this, I think he was in charge of a Winn-Dixie down in Florida or something like that. He goes, oh yeah, like he was like, you know, like God, like he walked on water type thing. I could see through this guy. He's so, what's the word I want to use? You know, he flips on everything he says. One minute he's saying one thing, and then he says it just talks out of the other side of his face. And he collects intel, I call it, by just kind of like going to everybody going, yeah, you know that guy John over there is an asshole. And then he goes over to the other guy and says, hey, John, what's going on, brother? Good to see you in there. You know, whatever. And then he's like, hey, good to see you. And then he's like, he's talking about this guy. And then he goes, yeah, well, this guy's doing it. And that's how he gets all his intel. But what he doesn't realize is everybody talks. What's the point? It's just stupid. It's just stupid at its finest. You know, and I just don't get it. It makes no darn sense. LV Joe Bobby said, Odyssey is like YouTube, but without censoring. Yeah, I actually have an account up there. In fact, every time I make a video, it just goes right up there. So, and you're better off, believe it or not, looking at Odyssey. It's not even, like I said, it's not in, it's a lot clearer. I think it's 20 to 30% clearer than it is on YouTube. It's not, you know, being compressed. The video is not being compressed is bad, and it just looks better. I'd say it's at least 20, 30% clearer and better. So every time I upload, it goes to Odyssey right off the bat. Eric Gower said, Chris, have you thought about putting together a letter of intent to become a manager? Oh, I know. Like I said, I pretty much using the term sold myself to the, I talked to him today at a lengthy amount of time, telling him what I could do for the store and everything else. And he already seen my work. So he goes, oh, yeah, I've already seen it. So that's awesome. So, like I said, he's going to get back to me. He's like on the phone constantly with these people. There's some kind of tech problem they're having from the last person that was doing some job in there that totally botched everything up in the store. So, I mean, the guy will lose like $300,000 within a short amount of time because they're unable to get into certain accounts that this person completely screwed up. So, I can understand him being a little wary about, you know, dumping X amount of dollars into a place or, you know, giving people more money. I get it. You know what I mean? It makes sense. But on the other side of the token, if you're going to pay somebody to run a store and do it properly, then, yeah, you know, you have to pay. it's because, like they say, you get what you get out what you put in. So. Whitebeard Sky Daddy says, Josh, and he's talking to Josh, he said, Jean and Chris and Jimmy Roberts have had their sub count frozen right around the same levels for years. It's obvious that YouTube is messing with them. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to tell me that nobody came along and said, hey, I found this channel interesting, let me go ahead and sub. It's just like stagnant. It's almost like you're totally invisible and they're not suggesting your videos on the side. Now, some people go, I've seen them, and some people go, I've never seen your videos on there. It's crazy. This is the reason why I always say, guys, put the word out. Put it in, like, if you're on Twitter, if you're, hey, you ought to check out this guy's videos, and, check out this and check out that. Because it's your help that actually helps the channel, because you're not getting it from YouTube. So what's the point? It's like you're just going, okay, I'm running stagnant here. It's like other channels are growing a little bit better because they got better material. I'll be honest, it's true. But they're better with their little graphics and the introductions, and everything's cute and all, and they got a better way of editing, and I'll admit that. I've never been a genius doing that, but I don't care. I think the raw material is what really counts, right? I can show you with more flash. What's the point? I want to show you what I've got, not what, how much I can flash to you. He's a flasher. Oh. Pierre McClarty, what's going on? He said, I can't stay long, but just dropping in to say hi. I appreciate your content. Much love. I appreciate you, Pierre. I really do. That means a lot. But yeah, much love to you too, brother. Valerian, he said, check your Facebook Messenger. Okay, I'll do that. All right. I still got to get back into that too. It's like I haven't really checked any of that. I haven't even checked my emails, to be truthful with you guys. It's been crazy. Like I said, there's just a lot going on, that's all. And it sometimes when you come home, you're like, I'm just dead. I just can't do anything. So you just like lay down for a little, I'll just take a little hour nap. Next thing you know, oh, it's only been 3 hours, huh? Oh God, you know what I mean? So you don't realize, because you're beat up after a long day's work. You're just nothing but physical work. And let's see, let me just show you here if this thing's gonna work. Maybe my battery died in this. Could have had. Let me see. I think it has. Usually, I mean, it's nothing like really big, but I got one of those little, I call it the knockoff Fitbit. But these things here, it's nothing to put on 12, 14,000 steps. Yeah, it's just flashing the battery. Easily. That's just at work. That's nowhere else. So, Long Island, New York, he said, secure team is slacking, never post, and now only post clear fake vids. Anyone know why he sucks now? What happened? I mean, again, most of these guys, I even said this one time, and it's not to say anything bad about him. Here's the weird thing. I'm going, my God, this guy is an insomniac. He literally just but that's all he does. He doesn't work. One video after another video. I said, at some point, you got to crash and burn. There's no way you can make this many videos and just keep doing it. But he has done it for quite a while, hasn't he? So I'm going, even at the very least, because people are like bad-mouthing him, oh, he lied, and he did. And he admitted it, right? But the thing is, making good money, making good bank. And then, like I said, it's like, so I always tell people, listen, just look at the channel like entertainment. Because it is cool. Some of the stuff he shows is just really cool stuff, right? So I don't care to watch it. In fact, I think it's pretty cool stuff. But some people really, really take it to heart, and they're like, well, he lied to us. And he did. There's no doubt. But like I said, everybody deserves a second chance, and if he finally hurdled over his BS and got everything straightened out, then good for him and get it done. But I haven't really watched his channel lately. I have seen a couple of his things. I think it was probably 3 weeks ago, something like that. Looked at some of his stuff, and I was like, okay, he's still doing okay. Nothing wrong with that. I'd be the same way if I was making between $16,000 and $30,000 a month. Do the math. Crazy. I just saw it. Just popped on there, Valerian. Just seeing it on my phone. I will check it out. I haven't checked out any of those. I bet there's probably a freaking 100 of them on there. That's what I'm saying, John. You said I think he's burned out, Chris. He's been real quiet. Again, it's kind of like it really will consume you, and if it is just a job, it really will consume you, because you're going, okay, if you build a certain amount of money, I don't care if it's very little, like my channel makes, very little, compared to anything like he makes. But he's got what, 2 million subscribers? So now you build a lifestyle according to the income. Well, now you got to maintain that income. See, I always thought I was always the person live moderately, okay, have a decent little car, and that's pretty much it. If you want to make bank, make bank. You know what I mean? Put the money in the bank, save yourself a nest egg. You want to go out and buy a house, and you can do it with cash, right? So I don't see anything wrong with that. If you're working hard, you should get paid. That's the way I look at it. I don't care what you're doing. But at some point, I'm going, this guy's going to burn out. It's just like he's making 1, sometimes 2 a day. I'm going, this guy doesn't sleep. How does he do it? I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. Let's see. MD Toby said, I've been doing UFO research for 40 years, and you're one of the best ones out there, and that's all that matters. I appreciate that. I mean, here's the thing. This is the way I look at it. Everybody's got their likes on whatever videos they like, right? And everybody does their own research. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's on the moon, it's on Mars, it's just secret research stuff or whatever. And that's cool, you know? And I think that's great. You know, and I've got the same thing. I got my faves as well. You know, like I said, I like anything like mechanicals, you know, so if it's like hot rods, science, sci-fi stuff, you know, science stuff, whatever it may be, I just eat that shit up. Like me, if I'm looking at a video online, I'm going, let me just find a good movie. It's usually sci-fi. I go right to the subcategory sci-fi. It's just, I like watching it. Now, sometimes I watch other stuff and I enjoy it. Like that movie I've never seen, which is really weird. Come out in 2019, was Rambo, Last Blood. Never seen it. Seen it yesterday. Good movie. Really good movie. Of course, the girl should have survived in it, and they should have showed at the very end of the movie that they were releasing all of these poor girls that were basically being sex slaves. So I thought that was kind of messed up. But anyway, so really good movie. Never seen it. It's not sci-fi, but it was a really good movie because you know, Sylvester Stallone's a good actor. So I don't know how it eluded me, but it did. So that thing did die on me, didn't it? SOB. Let me see here. Oh, got to do it this way. Hold on. Plug it in over here in this USB charger. If I can get it out this other one out the wall. Oh, the all the way around trick. Okay. Trying to figure why this thing didn't die. And that thing vibrate? It's up against the wall. Zzz, instead of vibrating because it's getting charged. Let's see. Yeah, Mimi, yeah, he said he even apologized if he doesn't post a video in a day. You know, it's kind of like you want to do that for people, but yeah. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but you know, so we'll just get on with some of these tabs I got here. It says mysterious triangle UFO spotted over Islamabad, so, or bad, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Really kind of interesting, but it's like anything else. You interpret it the way you see it, and whether you think it's BS or bogus, whatever it may be. Why is it doing that? What the hell is that?
Nothing has been there for the past 1 hour now. More than 1 hour now. It's kind of unreal. This thing is still there. It's very clear now because of the clouds. Dead still. It's just dead still. It's not a drone. It's definitely not a kite. And it's not a bird. Here's a bird. Here's a bird. There's a bird. This is not a bird.
All right, there we go. So anyway, I was just trying to check this here, just to see real quick. But you can see, like, I don't know what you guys think about it. Let me just do this. Let me just get myself a little smaller. All right, so we can see this right here. You can see where it's got this UFO. And so I was reading this. Of course, I think I had the mic off, which is awesome. It says the UFO hunter has captured footage of the mysterious object in the sky over Pakistan. Arslan Warich says he spotted the unidentified flying object over Islamabad while landing his drone. The extraterrestrial enthusiast managed to capture 13 minutes of footage, which he set the internet abuzz. According to The Sun, Mr. Warich spent 2 hours observing the bulging triangle UFO as it hovered over the city's posh DHA-1 district. The 33-year-old businessman, who is formerly from Birmingham, filmed the UFO from several angles. He said, I filmed it for over 12 minutes at different times, took dozens of pictures, and observed it for the best part of 2 hours, he said. I still don't know what it is. So, pretty interesting when you go down here. You go down, way down here, this one here says, UFOinterest.org says, I was asked about pics and videos of an alleged UFO filmed over Islamabad, Pakistan. I think it could be a kite related to Pakistan Basin, I guess it's Basin, or whatever, festival 2022. Adjacent to Pakistan's capital in Islamabad, an article about Pakistan Festival. But you can see the giant kite, it's got that weird look to it. And then, of course, you can see this one right here on the lower center right here. I guess it depends on the actual angle you see it at, that it could be. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Pretty interesting. Yeah, Tony, I was thinking about that earlier because I had the video itself off for myself, but I'm going, I think your mic's still off. So I was kind of looking to see, doing a comparison first before I turned it on, but I did forget that I had it off. So we're good now. Fresh. All right. Sean wants, pump up the jam. Mike, Mick Gustafsson, what's happening? Gustafsson, I should say, not Ifson. What's going on? Good to see you there, Mick. Somebody say it was buffering earlier? Or is it just because they were saying that the audio and video was going? But, well, you guys would have heard the video on the actual audio I played from that video. Let me put this back up here, move this down here. Eric Gower says 5x5. Yeah, it helps when you actually put the mic back on you. Works great then. Oh, that's funny. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. A lot of these here, you really can't tell, man, if these things are actually mysterious triangle spotted over Islamabad. Okay, so the way this guy says that, to the naked eye, it seemed like it was a black round rock, but as I zoomed in, it could see it was roughly the shape of a triangle, said Arslan. So, Arslan, we'll call him what we want, but, so yeah, it was pretty interesting. But it's hard to tell what these things are depending on how they turn. What angle you're seeing it at, the light, the shadowing. It could be anything. It could be a kite. Who the heck knows? I mean, a lot of people are jumping on this bandwagon, folks, as far as like UFOs, because I can literally put anything on. So yeah, it's a UFO. Maybe I can put like a drone, dress up the drone to make it look like something cool, and say, oh, look at that, look at a UFO. Get thousands of hits. I could do that. I could be dishonest, sure. I could do that all day long. I'm not going to do it. It's not what I do. U.S. pilot records mysterious UFO lights in the skies above South China Sea. So yeah, in the video we can see 3 sets of 4 mysterious lights formation flying above the clouds. And you can see that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Actually, there's a 4th one right there. There's 3, 4, and then 4. So, really cool. Watch it on Twitter. Let's see.
I don't know what that is.
That is some weird shit.
Millennia 2735, contact Ho Chi Minh 120, decimal 7, good day.
Ho Chi Minh 120.7, good day, Millennia 2735.
Gone.
Is that wild, guys, or what? Because here's the thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. Can it be hoaxed? Sure. Just like anything, right? He said, what are your thoughts on this footage? Now, if you notice the way those things actually were like 4 across and one on the very far on the right, if you're kind of looking at it from an angle, one would disappear. The other one would show up on the left, on the very left. Weird. And then they've just started disappearing. Like they were going in and out of it like a different dimension kind of thing. Again, we don't know. I mean, it looks like raw footage, so we don't know. And it looks grainy. In other words, the UFOs don't look superimposed. They don't look like CGI because they match the video quite well. Now, is it possible as a super clear video, they put them in and then they degraded the video to make it look crappier? Anything is possible. You guys know that. So now with all of the CGI going around, we don't know which one is real and which is not. Now, this does sound like these are actual pilots and they're literally flying. But I would have went, look at this shit. The damn things are disappearing. We didn't hear them say any of that. But they're just like, gone. That's what you heard him say. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who was just saying that? Let me see. Go back down. He said they're multiplying. Rashamir Jones says they're multiplying. Yeah, but it's like one would come on one end and then the other one drop off this end. So it was kept like 4. It's just weird. I mean, now we've seen that before. Wasn't that the one that was over Arizona? Was it the one over there? The giant was supposed to be like this, almost like a V shape. Like they'd pop in over here, disappear over here. And then vice versa, and just weird stuff. And it's not the first time we've seen this. It's almost like, can you imagine if that was an actual UFO where you can't actually see the body of it, you can't see it, but you can see like what looks like lights or something part of the spacecraft, like the outer parameter, and you just don't see like the rest of it's cloaked kind of thing. That'd be kind of weird. Exactly, Ricardo. He said, film through the airplane window, dubious. Well, again, is it like, so you may be saying that maybe it's some kind of lights or something like that in the reflecting of the window, but you don't see any kind of other reflection, which I found really interesting, right? Let me see something here. See, like as you watch through it, we'll just go through it here a little bit. I don't see anything that looks like a reflection off the window itself, which is really weird. And you see it disappear here. And then you'll see one pop up over here. See it? This one is starting to die off. This one's starting to pop in. See it? This one's popping out right here. Watch it, back it up. There it is right here. This one right here. Let's see what happens. That one goes away. Another one pops in on the right-hand side. See that? There's your 4. The one on the right pops in. The one on the left pops out of there. So it's just weird how this thing is doing. And they're in rows. They're like flying in like in rows, which is really, really bizarre. And then, like I said, they become 4, and then the other one drops off. So what the hell could this thing be? Or these things? That's pretty insane if you ask me, see it? Then they just stop popping away. Boom, 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 boom. They stop fading off. Whoop, just dragged it way too much. There we go. And they just start all just dropping off, period. It's like they're just going into like some kind of, like just going into cloaking themselves or something. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Long Island, New York. You said Phoenix Lights. Exactly. Yeah, exactly, Robert. Yeah. Robert Morgan says, I saw this footage. They were pilots. Yeah, and you can hear them talking. You can hear them on the radio. So clearly these guys are pilots. And a lot of pilots claim that they see a lot of this. But they just don't want to say anything because of ridicule and could lose their jobs and so on and so forth. And that I can understand why they would be like, shh, don't say nothing. So this guy says, I don't know what it was. The pilot is heard saying in the video. The 53-second video ends with the mysterious lights vanishing. The pilot, who was reportedly flying at an altitude of 39,000 feet, excuse me, this soda's going to kill me, was not far from Hong Kong when he witnessed the lights flying in unison at a distance. The lights resembled no known craft. And of course, and like one of you guys are just saying, oh, military. It's a good possibility, right? They're over the South China Sea, shows a dozen unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, near Hong Kong, before suddenly disappearing into the clouds. Was it that, or did it just dropping off into existence like in a cloak, right? The video shows 3 sets of 4 mysterious lights formations flying in the distance above the clouds. It was filmed on November 24th and has been widely shared on social media, inviting baffling reactions from users. Some of them thought the lights were alien aircraft, and others thought it was just lights were floating angels. Okay. However, some users wondered whether it could be a military exercise, which could very well be too. And like I said, I still believe, just watching this stuff, it's literally like the Tic Tac. I think that's all military. I don't believe that's anything to do with aliens or all that, because they won't say anything. They'll be like, well, we don't know if it's our military. Chances are it's not, but we're not sure if it'd be anything outer-worldly. So which one is it, guys? It's like they don't want to blame either one. Well, it's not aliens. We don't want to admit to that, and it's not ours. So pick whatever you want. You know, just throw a dot at it, and there's your answer. Come on. It really doesn't make sense. Long Island, New York, he said, we need a mission to the Sirius lights. Well, they already had done that. They had taken more photos of Sirius, right? And I'd done a video on that a while back. Yeah, there's much more going on there than meets the eye. They want to claim it's like an icy patch in one of these craters, and it's not. You know, you get down to the nitty-gritty in these photos, and they're not at all. Pilot claims he saw a fleet of UFOs over the Pacific Ocean. The video was shot around 39,000 feet. The suspect aliens aircraft took the form of a weird rotating lights moving across the sky. What are your thoughts on the footage? All right, John, you take it off. You said good night, everybody. Thanks again for the great hangout. Thanks for hosting again, Chris. Well, I appreciate you, John. John, we got to get you back on. Or, if you want, you can host me on yours. We can do that. You see some of your best stuff, too, because you're doing great work as well. So, you know, like I said, I haven't even had a chance to get with Will, so I don't know what he's up to. He hasn't hit me back or hit me up on anything. So, you know, so if you and I want to get together, you want to have me on yours or whatever, we can do that. And like I said, even if it got to the point where I did less and less videos, I still want to do the Hangouts regardless, because there's always so much to talk about in a Hangout, right? And we could just have a great time doing that. We can probably do that twice a week if we had to. So even if we're not doing the videos and just somehow we can't get them out, which I enjoy doing, which I'm going to do what I can, one way or the other, we're still going to just be there, right? We're at least going to try, right? Renee Cruz says, he said, I quit soda pop 2008. Believe it or not, I used to drink, I wouldn't say a ton of Pepsi, but I used to have like, I'd drink like 4 cans a day. Now, that's when I was a tool setter working on machines. And, you know, you're just constantly thirsty. You're just working, turning wrenches all day long. And you just get thirsty. So I got to the point where I said, you know what? I want to get off this trash. I really do. So I did. And believe it or not, we have this once a week, any kind of soda. That's it. And it's like root beer or something like that. Most of the time I have like a sweet tea or something like that. But, you know, I got to the point where I said, I'm just going to stop. So I stopped drinking Pepsi. Wow, that was a mistake. Because of the caffeine withdrawal, right? You know, it's like, oh my God, I feel like you've been whacked in the head with a 10-pound sledge. So I just get like a 20 ounce and just sip on that all day. And it would get rid of my headache, and then I just wean myself off it. And I haven't had any Pepsi since 2003. So, and never touched it. I know you guys have done this yourself. You try to go back to it. Oh, it's awful. It's absolutely awful. So, you know, like the root beer, once a week. So it's not like I drink it like there's no tomorrow. I don't prefer to drink it at all, but man, we just have it once in a while. Like I said, once a week, so it's not too bad. U.S. Pentagon creates new office to investigate UFOs. Now, this was last year, if you guys remember. This was in November. Yeah, it says November 25th. So it was in 2021, and I thought that was kind of weird, but I'm like, so now you want to put together an investigative new office kind of thing about UFOs, which you clearly knew since the 30s and 40s, maybe even sooner than that, right? So, so I found that really, really wild. And I go, it's sad how they're just lying to the people. Now we want to, now we're going to get involved, people. We really want to know what these UFOs are. Well, self-parking, I like that. The Pentagon is creating a new office to investigate unidentified flying objects amid concerns that after broad probes, it cannot explain mysterious sightings nearly highly sensitive military areas. And yet, they haven't done anything to the military areas. Keep that in mind. Maybe shut them down. Remember we heard that in the past? Deputy Deputy Secretary of Defense Kathleen Hicks, working with the U.S. Director of National Intelligence, ordered a new investigative body to be established in the U.S. Defense Department's Intelligence and Security Office, the Pentagon said late Tuesday. Well, like I said, I mean, I just find it really interesting that they've come out with this BS all of a sudden, right? Special Use Airspace. Ooh. The new office will focus on incidents in or near designated space use airspace, or SUA, areas strictly controlled and blocked from general aviation due to security sensitivities. Now, you can see right here, they got a Mora. Somebody even mentioned that earlier. Could be an alien listening device, Harvard professor said. I think that was Mr. Loeb, Professor Loeb, that said that. And then, of course, you got UFOs remain mystery in U.S. U.S. intelligence report that does not rule out aliens. They don't say it's aliens, but they don't rule it out. I don't know. It's like they just want to keep you like hanging there, like, yeah, it could be, but we're not sure. UFOs remain unidentified in U.S. intelligence final report. Possibility of alien spacecrafts not ruled out. Just come out with it already. Stop it. Stop fooling with people. It's a joke. It's a farce. It's sad. I mean, that's all there is to it. Like I said, you know as well as I do, they've known about these things since probably 1930s, if not sooner than that, a lot sooner than that, a lot earlier, depending on how you look at it. So yeah. John shot burp head. Oh no, I'll let you out a good one. Probably break the speakers in your phone. Why is somebody going to bed at 6:30 p.m.? Yeah, no doubt. What's up with that? Well, the people that live like Jean, he's probably about 1 o'clock right now. Probably about 1 o'clock. James Gregan, thank you very much, sir, for your support. Always continuing support. I love you. You're awesome. Chris, just going back to the moon subject for a second. There's talks from the Jesuit priest on a Mount Graham telescope of huge activity on the moon. Oh, that I don't doubt. I don't doubt at all. People have been noticing stuff on the moon coming and going for a long time, many, many years. It's not even a secret anymore. And yet they want to still say, there's nothing there on the moon. Come on, guys, there's nothing there. There's no structures on the moon. Our governments wouldn't lie. Like I said, I had that other ass hat talking about that. And, it's sad that people just believe that government is so innocent that they would know. It's like, you know as well as I do, if they known about this now, you're telling me they didn't have the technology to know about these things back in the day? Come on. People are just not using their heads at all. Oh, they just block it out, right? Let me see. Long Island, New York, he said the ring makers of Saturn. Yes. Interesting story. That I want to read the whole thing because I know that they said there's some rings that just stop abruptly. Like they literally were being made and then just stopped. So, and of course they claimed that there was what looked like structures on some of these rings. And I've done a video on that very thing where you can see shadows of things right on the edge of the ring standing up and it's casting shadows. And then when you get right into that area, it looks like a bunch of structures lined up all the way around. Really, really weird. And people go, well, how could they possibly do that? I don't know. It's a technology that maybe they have. I don't know. Yes, that's a good book too. I got that book, Long Island, New York. He said someone else is on the moon. In fact, I've got that PDF somewhere too. John Sharp says it's 20 hours. So, yeah, so you're what, 20 past 11. So, yeah, you're pretty much almost midnight in the UK. And Jean, I think, is a little further than that. Either way, it's late for him. Mick, he said every government is corrupt in one fashion or another, right? I mean, we know that now. Rashaman Jones says they never showed the dark side of the moon on the live moon footage. Well, that's true because it's kind of like, when you think about that, you know that the LROC, the actual Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter camera, could take pictures of the far side. Now, we do see that, but it's always in the dark, which is really kind of amusing because the other side of the moon, or the far side, gets sun. So you're not telling me that that orbiter is not at the backside of the moon at times when it's sunny out. And of course, they do have photos of it, but you can see some of them are just really, they're kind of a joke, right? They're not actually, they don't look real. They look CGI'd. Now, I'm not saying none of them are, because a lot of them are. But then you can see up close, when you get real close, you can see areas have been spot blurred and, you know, different parts of it's like digitized out. It's just weird, right? Les Kapak says, Chris, check out Nev's Gigapan of MSL South 1301. That's the one I just did a video on. That was the, just one we just did. It was 1301 to 1302. Where I just did the, where you can see what looks like those buttes in the center of the photo, well, pretty close to the center, where they actually look like crumbled structures, and that's when I showed about the sky as well being manipulated and centered out. Well, I mean, it literally looks like, if you do what I did, it looks like they went like just with a paintbrush. It just kind of took everything out. It's crazy how they did that. John Burp. He said, yeah, they cover up the cities. You're saying Russia may. Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing. They're covering up the cities, but they're leaving a lot of stuff behind. But they figured because everything's way in the background, everybody's going to go, oh, look at the pretty mountains and keep going. They're not going to just literally rip these photos apart. But you need to, because there's so much in that photo. Again, I believe those are supposed to be made look like buttes, but then you can see how the sky is manipulated. You can see like pixelations or compression artifacts, it might be artificial artifacts, that were put over those areas of the buttes. Almost like these, whatever these things are, extend into the skyline, and they don't want you to see it. So the whole sky is being blacked out, or blocked out, I should say, because it's not black. So they're literally taking this stuff out, and they're putting their own garbage in it. You can see, again, like it looks like paintbrush strokes and all kinds of weirdness going on, right? It just doesn't make sense. Let me see. Tim Houston, I didn't see you in there. What's going on? Good to see you in there. That's a great question, Steve. I don't know. I have no idea. You say, hey, Chris, what happened about the Atacama alien they found? Stephen Gray did a video on it. I don't know. You don't hear too much about it, right? It's kind of weird. It's like sometimes it's like, boom. It's like, you know, you hear a topic and it just goes on and on and on, and then you don't hear anything about it. It's just really weird. John Schaub, he said the moon vid you did was the best. It looks like it abandoned as we the Earth people were once on the ark, the moon. And, I mean, a lot of people state that, which is really bizarre, but a cool story because they say this is an ark, and basically, you know, that was, you know, put here around Earth. So in other words, it was basically a capsule, so to speak, brought everybody here, boom, and then everybody was transported down to Earth, and this is how we started. I'm not saying I believe the story, but I'm not saying you got to close your mind to it because we don't know. You know, who knows? We weren't some kind of, it wasn't, you know, around Mars at one time, and somehow it was brought here. So everybody from that planet got on board there and then brought here. Of course, it's extremely sci-fi, if you will, but I'm not ruling anything out. I'm not saying I believe the craziness. I'm just saying that you can't close your mind to the fact when you stop and think about all of the things when you put it together. It just doesn't make sense. Sky Blue, you said, can the James Webb telescope look at the moon in infrared? Would it show anything? It's kind of like the Hubble. They said it can't be done. Why? Because it's too close, right? I don't believe that for a minute. In fact, they actually have a couple of photos of the moon from the Hubble. Now, because it's 100 million miles away, I think it is, you guys could correct me if I'm wrong, as far as the James Webb, it could literally now just turn to the moon and look at it. I'm sure it could see anything it wants to see. They can just turn it around, look at it, and then put it, just redirect it right out back out into space and see anything they want to. But it seems to me like, because the moon is in our backyard, so to speak, we've sliced, diced, and did everything we had to do to the moon. We actually know what's on the moon, what's going on with it. Things may be coming and going, or we're the ones that's coming and going since the 30s or whatever. And that it's just a normal jump-off spot for us now. I think it's been going on for a long time. Yeah, exactly, Robert. Yeah, you're right. You said NASA did show films of the far side of the moon. I know because that's how I got the globe of the moon. But here's the weird thing, though. Is it what's really there? Is it being hidden? Because when you look at the moon, you know, the globe itself, you're not going to see any interest because it's not going to be right down into the craters and so on and so forth, right? You won't see that. Now, you can see, like when you go in the LROC photos where they literally can get almost down to the ground, but not quite. So there could be things all around these craters or in it, and you never know it. And even if you can get down real low with the LROC photos, I've seen one, like I said, with the moon. There goes that itch. Where you can get right down to it, and then when you get down, you can see where they've stitched all these hundreds of photos together to make the moon itself, right? And you can see like sections are blurred, digitized out. But if you back out a little bit, it all combines and joins perfectly, and you don't even know it. But as soon as you get it super zoomed in, you can see it's all broken down into all of these photos and stitched together. That's where you can see the blurry parts and everything else. I went, that's weird how they do it. It's almost like it's a layered photo, because when you see it from a distance, keep zooming in, it looks great. Second you go max zoom, everything's broken down. Which is really weird, right? James Gregan, thank you again, sir, for your support. You said, as you said many times before, we never stop going. I don't think we have. Nope. Great for all says, I've never seen a really good picture of the far side of the moon. They do have some, and that's some of the ones we've actually examined. And, you know, it's funny because, like I said, I don't think some people pay attention to the video because they were like, some guys will come on there, hey, I got a telescope. I haven't seen any of that crap you're seeing on there. This is far side of the moon. You're not going to see it, Holmes. Not going to see it. It's, yeah, good luck with that. And they go, oh, and then they have that kind of duh moment, like, oh, shit, do I feel like an ass? You should, because you weren't paying attention. David Range, you said, hi, Chris, keep in mind that there have been artists and famous ones at that, painting UFOs in their paintings. Furthermore, a long time ago. Yes, you know, you got those, was it, some of them were like the Blessed Mary type thing or whatever, and they had like these UFOs in the sky. They had the one with the dog way in the background with the guy looking up at the sky, and you can see the dog, and the UFO, and you can see what looks like the Blessed Mary, I think it is. There's several ones. It looks like there's one UFO, and it's got a beam of light going into the building next to another figure inside the building. So really, really cool stuff, right? And this stuff goes on to, good God, this goes way back. Evidence of UFOs largely inclusive. U.S. intelligence reports. Now, this goes back to June of last year. The unclassified report said researchers could explain only one of the 144 UFO sightings by U.S. government personnel and sources between 2004 and 2021. Okay, what about long before 2004, where there was no CGI? Go back to the 60s, the 70s, where people were taking black and whites, and you could see clearly, some of them not so clear, but they were better photos back then than we see in the garbage now. Because they were just regular photos, right? You didn't see no pixelation and garbage like that. It's either out of focus or it was in focus, or really bad lighting, depending on how they took the photo. But some of them, really, really good photos, right? But from 2004 to 2021, whatever. You know, it just makes you laugh. Leska Park says loads of carved blocks, Martian and stonemasons? I don't know. Yeah, there had to have been something, because you can see a lot of these would have 90-degree corners, and they're like blocks sticking out of the sand. Some of them are all in a row, and then of course then it's covered up with all kinds of the garbage. So is it like a structure that's collapsed? Good possibility, right? Very good possibility. Take it over, Ricardo. He said, right, I'm passing the baton to James Cragen, Steve Garnham, Elaine Haha, to V4. Of course, I'm talking about the medal. Been a pleasure being here with you all. See you next week. Good night. All right, Ricardo, appreciate you being here. Appreciate you always support. You're always there to support. And have yourself a good weekend there, right? Have a good one. Yeah, I haven't. It's a good question, Steve. Now, I just talked to Julia through an email, and she was talking about. I just saw it yesterday, and I haven't had a chance to get back to her. But she was talking about how you guys would mention like Antarctica every now and then. And I've told her, I said I still got to get a couple of videos that she had. And in fact, she sent me some more photos of Antarctica, which I think a couple I have and some I do not. So I'm going to go over those and then get back to her as well. But I haven't been able to. Like I said, I haven't been able to do anything. I think I looked at her emails last night, and then that was pretty much it. But you made a great point about Miss Heard, because he always corrects me on that. Miss Heard. I haven't seen her, or, Mike as well. I don't know where Mike's at either. So, really good question. Julia pops in here every now and then. She just says sometimes she'll just listen because she's busy, but she'll sit there and listen to the live feed, which is great. And like I said, but she was talking about, some of the parts of the, that she had done, well, her and Sarah had done the thesis, where she was talking about, if everybody read basically introduction to the actual thesis itself, where, a lot of people like Linda Moulton Howe, how she's talking about how there's alien bases under the ground, and there clearly are not. And then there's structures that we see above ground. The only question I have would be, because she says it's very dense rock up there, which I believe that's the truth, because if you research into that, it is very dense rock. All right, so, but I'm going to picture somebody with the technology to blast through that kind of rock. Kind of like, what was it? Alien versus, Predator, where you can see this laser hole blasted right down to like 2 miles into the ground, and it's perfectly round, right? How do we know they don't have that kind of technology? But then part of you says, okay, but if they have the technology, wouldn't they just build underground and be hidden from everybody? But back then, if it was around the time where she says it might have been like this industrialization, I'll get it out, I promise, from 96,000 to 100,000 years ago, then who would they have to hide from? Because if they were the only civilization, whether it be us or otherworldly, why would they need to hide from anybody? There was really no other life on the planet, maybe just that area. But then again, how do we know that there wasn't? The planet could have been so much different back then, and we would never know it. We're just finding signs of ancient civilizations that were doing things that were phenomenal, and some of the things we can't even, simulate today. We can try, and I think some things we have, but then some things not so much. So if you go back, well, again, 96,000, 100,000 years ago, and I've done videos on this because, again, you can go to my Antarctica site where I put her thesis on there. In fact, I think it's even on my regular page, my Mars Anomalies page. But I also put on Antarctica as well to keep them all there. And there's several videos there with the thesis and everything else. Updated one as well. And, if they had the technology back then they were capable of anything. They could have been below ground as well as above. Now, I agree with Julia that, it's full-blown. It's like stepped into stupidity. Like I said, people like to over-embellish. They want to stay relevant, so they add a piece of the story every year. And it's sad because they're just leading people by the nose, and people want to believe so badly that they're just following along. Yeah, you're right. And that's not true, because anybody who's doing real research, let's say they go, I generally like her, I'm going to follow her. There's nothing wrong with that. But then do the research yourself and go, okay, is it possible? Kind of like I tell you to do on this channel. I give you the picture, you examine it, we examine it together, you make your own conclusions, come up with your own conclusions. It's either I don't believe it or I do. I'm not here to restrict anybody's thoughts. I'm here to say, listen, this is what's going on. Give me your thoughts on it. This is what I'm seeing, or what I believe to be happening in this photo. What do you guys believe? That's all. It's as simple as that. I'm not telling you what to believe, because that's not right. Everybody here's got their own mind. They're not stupid. But when people just want to believe so badly, especially like Linda Moulton Howe, a lot of these people, because it's the hot topic, everybody follows along blindly. And here she is, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Every year, if you notice, they add a little bit to the story, add a little bit more to the story, add a little bit more to the story. So they stay relevant. Because obviously, if you don't stay relevant, you don't make any money. So, yeah. And if this is their livelihood, then that's why they're doing it. Coming out with books. And now, am I saying that she's completely false and not telling anything true? No, I don't believe that's true. I don't think everything she's saying is true. I do believe some of it. Maybe half of it, but nah, can't swallow the whole thing. And again, a lot of these people like to over embellish. And you can just actually see through that. Rashomir Jones, you said that's why people don't believe people are going to be in shock. Well, they will if they've never had any knowledge of anything, like just simple things like I do on this channel, breaking down these photos that were being given through NASA, JPL, and Caltech and all of this. But once you look at these photos yourself and you go, my God, this stuff is being fooled with, it's being censored. We're seeing things in these photos. The pictures tell 1,000 words. They don't have to say a word to us. So the more you learn about these photos and more research you do about other things, aspects like the moon and the sky, how it's being lied to, it's not. It's just like, it's always red. No, it's not. When you break it down and put it all together, you go, I see the picture. So you're desensitized to it. Now, if you were a person who's never done any research, never heard anything about it, then the first thing you do is go, I'm a little in shock. They just said there was alien life out there. Wow, I don't know what to believe. So most of the people would be like, man, just chill out. Ain't no big deal. You know what I mean? That's just what they're going to say. So, yeah. Terry Kelly, what's going on? Good to see you in there. He said, your question is it correct that the crust on the dark side of the moon is thicker than the light side? Truthfully, I don't remember which one was supposed to be thicker, but there is supposed to be a thicker side than the other. So you can see like some of the craters, and it may actually be the far side. If you look at it, the craters don't seem to be as deep. Like it's more dense because they found like metals in the actual crust as well, right? So it's not quite as deep as you see like on the side we can see. Or even if it's not on that right directly in front of it, but it's kind of on the sides. In other words, it's still within view, right? But on the other side, it seems to be more dense, like it's more solid rock, right? Or more solid steel lining or skin to it. Woo! Elaine Millard says the biggest evidence is often in plain sight, usually right under your nose. Unless you make the effort to look closer, most people will miss what's right under their nose. Absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. And that's why I said, when you look at these photos, don't look at them. Look into them. Because you can see the imperfections. You can see the lies. It's right there in front of you. Now, some people, like I said, no matter what you tell them, they're going, la, 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 la. They just don't want to believe it. Because it screws up their world thinking, and they just don't want to hear that. So they think you're either batshit crazy or, well, the tinfoil hat or whatever they call it. But it's like, all you got to do is look at the photos. The photos tell all. And I always tell people, you don't have to listen to me. Go look at it yourself. Check it out yourself. Enhance it. You don't have to listen to what I say or anybody else is doing this. I don't care. But most people come out going, I did the same thing and I'm seeing what you're seeing. In fact, I see things a little bit differently. I see a little bit more than you see or a little less than you see, but I'm still seeing it. Fantastic. That's like I said, that's the payoff. People are seeing this, and I'm glad that they're doing their homework on this. It's great. Oops. Josh D said, Linda Mulhall was desperately trying to stay relevant and fed a lot of crap by all kinds of interests. She was rather She was rather attacked by rather squidding during interview. Oh, okay, yeah, on UCR. Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, yeah, because they actually were like, she was like stumbling, I heard somebody was saying, because I didn't see the video. But when they were asking a question, she's like, she didn't know what to say. And, you know, if you're that much versed in your research, you could just spout it right out. Somebody asks you a question. Of course, sometimes it's like me, I want to convey it properly. So, like, I'll search for the words to say and get it right. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these people, like I said, they're just trying to stay relevant. That's all it is. Now, don't get me wrong, in anything you do, like here, like the more videos you do, you stay more and more relevant. Just makes sense because people want to stay on top of the videos and keep watching them. So if you don't make them, let's say, for 3 months straight, well, what's going to happen? People are going to just lose interest on the channel, which you hope that they wouldn't because they could still watch other videos you got and you may come out with more anyway. So, but the thing is, it's like, you know, again, that's their major income. So if they don't keep rolling with it, they won't be rolling in it. So, yeah. Tim Houston, you said the remains of an advanced civilization are under the ice in Antarctica. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know because they built on top of the ground. We know that. So who's to say that they didn't build underground? Now, on her site, she does say there are no UFO bases, or alien bases rather, which, you know, Linda Moulton Howe is really on board with, we'll use the term, right? She really believes that's true, and of course she had this military guy talking about how it's underground. Is it possible that she's correct? I'm 50-50, because I'm not ruling it out, because we don't know what kind of technology these people had. I mean, look what we have. We have structures all over the surface of the planet. We also have a whole lot of crap underground. We have tunnels that expand they're all over underground underneath the United States. Truck drivers have done it. They've driven it. So it expands, like you can go from West Coast to East Coast underground. That's crazy. So how much is being done under our feet we don't know about? For all we know, there's an entire city underground. We wouldn't even know it. We wouldn't even know it. And I'm not talking about some kind of distribution center where they're storing goods. And I'm talking about an actual city underground. We would never know it. How do we know the elites don't live under there? And of course, I'm just speculating, of course. But how do we know there's not a city under there and that everybody's living large under there, bringing food down there? They got all kinds of stuff. And like, in other words, just a functioning city, right? And, you know, so if anything was to happen to this planet, they're sealed. They're fine. Just close off the entrances. Boom. They can live there for X amount of years and not care. The whole top of the planet can be completely roasted, and they're completely fine. So, we don't know. But the fact that these truck drivers can travel, and you can watch the videos, the guy was, you know, one guy ran up to one of the trucks, hey, where are you going? Oh, I don't know, it's an all-night drive. Really? Through this tunnel? Oh, yeah. He said it expands from here to, like, up, going up towards Canada. One of them said it goes into the East Coast. One said it goes into the West. Oh, yeah, you could drive for hours on underground, not even trying. You just keep driving. That is crazy. I mean, can you imagine riding along for hundreds of miles underground and nobody would ever see you? It's all going underneath, it's going on underneath your feet. That's nuts. Hey, flux capacitor 72 Monty, what's happening? He said taxpayer-funded Webb telescope to send its first target info back as super secret. Go figure. I've heard the same thing. I'm going, of course. I even said that. They're going to see stuff that's unimaginable. Here's the thing. You know as well as I do, let's say something's 600,000 light years away. With the Hubble telescope, they can see it pretty damn well, right? No problem at all. You know with the James Webb, they're going to get finer details. So they're going to say, wherever this was in the sky, go ahead and lock the James Webb into that coordinates where the Hubble's seen it. We can see it so much more better detail. So you know they're not going to tell anybody about it. It's just common sense. This is not put there to go, hey, let's just gaze out into the stars. No, they're looking for alien, worlds. And I don't mean like, just getting silly with little alien grays, like I said. But just, can you imagine these major, civilizations living on a huge planet that would just like dwarf our planet? and be like kind of like this dark kind of planet thing. And they're seeing that. They're going, oh, God, maybe we don't want to communicate with those. But you don't know what they're seeing out there. Or they may be just looking at worlds they know for a fact that would actually be able to support life as we know it. So, I mean, you know they're gonna see incredible things, and you'll never hear a word about it. Some stuff, like I said, will leak out here and there, but it won't be a whole lot of anything. There you go, Tim. He said, because pounding stones and copper chisels just don't work. Yeah, I mean, when you really think about it, you know as well as I do, like they want you to believe like the pyramids were built with like brass chisels and little stone hammers and stuff like that. Really? I don't think so. Now, they did say that they probably had some kind of saw, you know, where it was like a rope driven and everything else, where they could cut, you know, these giant stones and, of course, move them into place. And like I said, people are going, oh, it's aliens. I don't believe it's aliens, but the way they explain it is our gods or our overseers helped us build these pyramids. So probably helped them in the way to show them how to build this, and they built it themselves. Some people will tell you, some of the stories you'll read is that the Egyptians came along. These pyramids were there before they came along. And the Sphinx was there long before the pyramids. So it's going, what? What is really going on there? Because you can have, how many times you guys heard that where there's, I think it was in, I don't know if it was in Teotihuacan, but they had, in fact, some of the Mayans were like this, where they had a pyramid. Other civilizations came along, they built on top of that pyramid. And then this one built on top of that pyramid. So that you can actually go into like different civilizations over thousands of years that they built on top of an older one. So, you know, you don't know how old this stuff really is. I mean, unless, of course, you can carbon date some of this other stuff, like whether it be skeletal or different other things. So there's different carbon dating techniques. And, you know, they'll just find some really crazy things. And they look back and they go, my God, this was here for X amount of thousands of years. So, yeah. Rashomir Jones says, Agatha and Shambhala. Yeah. And the walls of Shambhala. Yeah, I mean, which is, you know, really, you know, the way they describe Shambhala, it was where they, you know, you got the monks and stuff like that, and they believe that they can, like, go out of body and they can basically be in their, like, what's the word I want to use? It's kind of like their equivalent to heaven, where they can actually, like, meditate and stuff like that. So it was their spiritual zone, so to speak. Pretty cool. Sky Blue said it would probably be easy to tunnel and build underground on Mars because it's only 1/3 gravity of Earth. Well, the thing is, but how dense is their soil in the ground itself, right? Even though it's X amount of gravity to Earth, it's still, depending on how solid the ground is, right? But I don't know. It would be easier because obviously picking up this, depending on how much soil it is, it'd be easy to move because it is lighter, in fact. But you know, they're talking about, you know, if it's ancient lava tubes, you can actually build into those, kind of like what they want to do to the moon, right? Where they showed holes in the actual lunar surface, and they want to build into it, and because it will actually help with radiation and stuff like that and block it all out. So you're basically living in old lava caves, which I would be a little afraid if they had a moonquake, which they do still have quakes, your luck would just cave in and kill everybody in there. So that wouldn't be good. Of course, they'd reinforce it and all that, but you know how that goes. Doesn't mean you can stop it all, right? John Shea says, same as the pyramids were built on top of megalithic stones in Giza, yeah, in Giza itself, which is true. We can't even lift them with today's technology and cranes, etc. Yeah, because they believe that they were moved by, you know, they were put on these giant logs or these logs and they rolled them. Yes, you could do that, but these stones are like X amount of tons. It take X amount of manpower to pull these things, which could happen. Get enough people, you have enough manpower, you can move it. But they also said they actually perfected sound where they can actually levitate these stones and put them into place. Now, is that possible? Don't know. But the way it's built, and keep in mind, I forget what they said, this whole, one of the pyramids alone, the way they're built, how many stones there are, it's still pretty straight. You literally can't put a blade between these stones. It's just crazy how these things are built. Now the outside has been weather beaten and stones are stolen to use in the cities and stuff like that around the pyramids. I get that, but the inside is like you literally cannot stick a razor blade in these, and they've been there for X amount of thousands of years. Now they believe it was it 7,000 years, the Great Pyramid, but they say it's much older than that. It's including the Sphinx. It's much older than the pyramids, so it goes way back. I think somebody's even said maybe, I'm trying to remember what they said as far as like 26,000 years old, not like the 7,000 like they're talking about. You're saying 200 tons plus. Exactly, he said for the big ones. I mean, imagine moving something. How many people would it take to do that? Then they want you to believe that they moved it along the ground. Wait a minute, now we got to go up a ramp, go like this, go back and forth, until you can finally keep stacking these things all the way to the top. Really? Wow. So they said they'd have to build, and I forget what they said because they calculated where they said it took them this long to build. I think it was like 20 years. They said they'd have to get one of those blocks put into place every like minute and a half of something ridiculous. Where first of all you have to get the stone, cut the stone to precise measurements, get it up to there and everything in X amount of time. And it was just ridiculous. There's no way that could have been done in 20 years. John Shea said, yeah, they had weird cones to lift them. Like the guy who built the Coral Castle, yeah. No one knows how he managed on his own. Some kids saw him using these cones on one time. Yeah, which they had. Remember he had the tripod. I've been there to Coral Castle. It's pretty interesting. Really cool stuff. Maybe next time I'll bring these photos up because I took a ton of them. So, and the guy was short. He was probably up to here on me, on my shoulder. Really small guy. So, and I've actually got a picture of me standing right next to it. It's like a cardboard cutout, right? But about his height and everything. But this guy was amazing. They literally had a tripod, but he had a box there. Nobody knew what was in that box. They thought, oh, it's just nothing more than a come along, or some kind of like hand crane type thing. And they said, no, that's not what it was. But he was able to move these very large stones. And then one day, like I said, I think they were saying that the story went like the box disappeared somehow or something. And that was the end of that, and of course, whatever. But, yeah, it's crazy, right? Exactly, Retro Man. You said the monks go into 12-year silence. They are guardians of Shambhala in Tibet. Yep. Cloud 33 Studios. Yeah, where you been, man? You said, oh, man, I forgot it was Friday. I know, sometimes you get like that. You're just like, is it Friday today? Holy crap. You don't realize it, and it's like it goes by so fast. And like I said, I've been like totally busy. I was just like, I think I even said that this morning. I went, oh, that's right, it's Friday today. Holy crap. Exactly, Renee V. You said there are also stories that it was made with sound waves of the pyramids. Yes, yeah, that's what I was just talking about. How's it, Grass? What's going on? Good to see you in there. It's been a long time. Sorry if I missed out. If someone else said hello. Yeah, good to have you in there. I hope you're doing good. Good to see you in there. James Craig, he said, Chris, let's not forget about the massive structures in Ethiopia. I'm sorry. And in ancient Angkor. Yeah, Angkor Wat, which is in Cambodia, which is really crazy, right? And the unreal precision alignment of these structures with the sun and the stars above. Explain that, man. Yeah, I mean, these guys were very good at looking at the stars, right? And they could map them out. This is the reason why you see, like, a lot of the star systems that match with, like, the pyramids, right? So, between that and, like you said, Angkor Wat is really wild because when you see that, it's just something. I think that's the one that shows the Stegosaurus, right? It's carved into one of the stones. It shows like man was with dinosaurs because how do they know what a Stegosaurus looked like? And yet it's carved in one of the stones. That's crazy. So, what was the other one too? There's actually many of them, but yeah, great point. Pyramids, they're all over the world. David Ranger said, now that you mentioned disappeared, what is your take on the disappearing of Baltic Sea anomalies? I'm not aware that they disappeared. The Baltic Sea, which looks like that weird, almost looks like a spacecraft, right? and it looks like it kind of crashed and just kind of slid into place. I remember my buddy Thomas, actually, he's good friends with the people who dove down with their robotics and, you know, stuff like that, and were down there and looking at this stuff themselves. And they claimed that it looked like some kind of weird, it almost looked like the Millennium Falcon, remember? So I'm not aware that it disappeared. I mean, maybe I missed that, I don't know. But it's still an interesting topic, right? Because it does. It looks like whatever that thing is, it literally slid into where it's at. Or it's an ancient structure, and water flow has been going this way. And of course, if you're looking at the top view, and you got this weird mark on the right-hand side of it, maybe the water's been flowing around it and causing this weird erosion, which is a good possibility, right? But, you know, people stating, oh, it's a UFO. It's got the shape of one, I'm not going to lie. And it does look like that weird Millennium Falcon, like that weird shape. So, but I'm not aware of the disappearance of it. I mean, like I said, unless I missed that, which is a very good possibility. Hans Grouch, thank you, Chris. Glad to see you all too. Yeah, I mean, it's been good to. I've been, like I said, I hope you've been doing well. Hate to see anything happen to anybody who's like, especially if it's a person that's always on here, you know. Rashomir, you said the sound waves and electromagnetics built the pyramids. Well, that's what they're saying. They said they had like a sound technology, and they could actually levitate stones and stuff like that and put them in. Is that a possibility? Yeah, because sound can do incredible things, you know, like they've done in laboratories where you have like 2 speakers and you can put it at a certain frequency, and you can levitate a rock, you can levitate anything. So if they had that down pat somehow, and you would think, how would they have this technology if they're sitting there working with these brass chisels and stupid stone hammers? But if they had guidance from the watchers from above, anything's possible. Matt Corbet said Gobekli Tepe is awesome. Yeah, that too. You see these weird like bird type things on these giant stones, and the way they're laid out, they're kind of rounded off. And they said that Gobekli Tepe was probably purposely buried because they didn't want anybody else. In other words, they were leaving that actual area and they just wanted to bury it. So it wasn't like, I guess they didn't find any way that it flooded and somehow filled in the sand into the thing. They believe it was actually purposely buried. So really, really cool stuff. They had, like I said, carved animals, look like these weird birds and other creatures and stuff like that. So really, really cool. And AV said, "Oh, okay, Chris. Yes, I didn't hear that, Chris. I was in the kitchen. Oh, okay. Yeah, he did, Josh. You're talking about Praveen. Yeah, Mohan did a nice series on Angkor Wat's. It's crazy. Basically, a mountain carved into a complex. Yeah, I mean, well, there's several of them. You can't get confused because Angkor Wat's was basically, it almost looked like a giant stone city, and it was actually out in the open. Angkor Wat's, where it had like, I think it was almost had like a, if I'm not mistaken, I could be, but it had like almost like a moat around the whole thing. There was like a body of water around the whole thing. And it's a giant city. The one, I'm trying to think if that's, you're talking about, if it's a mountain, you can actually see down into it. I think you're talking about where the whole thing is cut into the actual stone, which is absolutely wild to say. How does anybody do that? Think about the technology, and I don't mean like you had to bring on a computer, but think about just saying, hey, you're looking at this part of this rock, this huge rock, and what do you say we build a city out of that? And you literally just start digging out and building this. And it's out of one piece of stone. How the hell do you do that? That's crazy. These people were insanely genius, man. John Shea said there's massive megalithic blocks in Russia. It looks like a cliff face, but actually it is a construction. I think I've seen them. I think I know what you're talking about, too. Josh D said north of Gobekli Tepe, they have found a similar, even older complex. Yep. This is mainstream scientists. Yep. Well, see, and a weird thing about it is a lot of times these archaeologists or scientists go, phooey. They don't believe it. And it's like, you know, just like what was that other guy's? What was the guy, the curator for Egypt? Remember, what's his name? I just had it. Howie, or whatever his name was, whatever. But they kind of kicked his ass out or tried to remove him because they were trying to really excavate and do some ground penetrating radar around the Sphinx, and they wanted to go into these temples and all of that was around the actual pyramids, and wanting, oh, no, there's nothing here, and the people want to believe this and believe that. Well, why are you stopping people from going? Now, I understand you don't want people looting these grave sites because it's not cool, it's not right to do that. But what they're doing is, I can understand him wanting to see it first and then take it and put it into museums and stuff like that. Then follow them along. You don't block these people from wanting to see this. I don't believe that's cool to be able to do that, right? So, but there's always somebody trying to stop progress. Now, I understand, like I said, you don't want to just desecrate these grave sites and everything else, but do it properly if you're going to do that. Say, we know the people are going to loot it, so why don't we just take it and put it in museums? It'll be a lot safer and better off. And that's the best way to do it. But some people he was just blocking everybody from, going into these areas and having a better look. Why? What's the point? Because there's much more on these underground things into like the Great Pyramid of Giza. There's tunnels underneath these things, and they were used for something much more than just a grave site, if you will. There's much more to these pyramids. Much, much more. How's the crowd? She said, I've been thinking of you, Chris. I've always wanted to join the live stream, but recently had quite a few late weekends. Oh, I hear you. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I'm just glad that you're health-wise, you're good. I think that's great as long as it's because work will get in the way. I was just talking about that earlier. Things are going to change in mind, so I'm trying to still figure out how I can still juggle this and still be with you guys and still do my job because the hours are going to change. Everything's going to change. It's another store I'll be going to, and it's just weird. It's just really crazy. So it's like my future's like up in the air as well. So, but like I said, I'm going to still continue doing this one way or the other. I don't care how we do it because it's something I enjoy doing. And because I do it often, all the time, it's, you just don't want to stop doing it. It's as simple as that, right? Yeah, exactly, Justice. Sorry, Hawass, yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, something like that. Sorry, Hawass, Robert was saying. Yeah, I mean, it's like, how about big ass? It's like, stop blocking people from, I understand he was put in charge to make sure that people don't just go buck wild and just ruin the joint. I get it. I understand. But when people say, well, we want to just use ground penetrating radar in here because we believe there's much, no. There's nothing going on here. There's more to it than that. Even he's got a boss. Flux capacitor 72 Monty says everything in our world and in us seems linked to electricity. It's right in front of us and inside us. In the ground is as ancient grid lines linking oddly more pyramids in the unknown network. Yeah, and that's true because you got these ley lines all over the world, energy lines. You've got your body's made of electricity, electrical impulses. So yeah, this is the reason why maybe sometimes we feel like everybody says, oh, it's a full moon, everybody's going mental, and then some people are feeling like a spiritual enlightenment in certain areas, right? So it's got a lot to do with it. Sound plays a lot, has a lot to do with your feeling and stuff like that, as well as just electrical and stuff like that. And of course, your body's 70% water, so the moon has a little bit to play on it. It's just weird. It's just bizarre. Everything around you can affect you positively or negatively, right? No pun intended. Hans Krause said, thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. I'm glad to see you. Everyone is doing well here, well too here. And good luck at the new store. We will support you, whatever you decide to do. I appreciate that. I really do. And like I said, it's all kind of, there's nothing really etched in stone yet. So who knows, right? But we'll see. We'll definitely see. John Shea says most churches in the UK are built in the intersection of ley lines. Weird how they knew back then. Yeah, it's almost like they had their own compasses, which they did. They had compasses for years, right? And they could just tell right where they're at, right? Because you know this thing's either just going to spin out of control, and they knew exactly where they can go back and forth, like in a cross type thing, and see, okay, here it is exactly. Let's build right here. So, of course, there's other ways to measure that too, but you know, that would be probably the best way. Well, of course, some of these churches are what? Go way back. So, yeah, it's like I'm telling you, as crude as their building was, they were pretty ingenious. I mean, they were pretty smart. So, what can you say? You just look at this stuff at awe, and you're just like, how the hell did these people, supposedly being primitive, because we think, if you think backwards, you think, oh, we're the most superior people out there. Are you? Just because they built in stone, look at the stones that they built. How many thousands of years they've been there. Leave any structure we have today the way it is. Don't try to maintain it. I promise you it's not going to last 7,000 years. Not going to do it. Will it erode in, you know, like the pyramids have? Yeah, the pyramids have eroded, and of course people have scavenged stone off of there to build the cities, like I said earlier. But if you were not to maintain anything here for 7,000 to 15,000 years, what would be left of it? Mother Nature would take over, buildings would crumble, everything would fall apart. Pyramids are still standing, and they're solid as can be. Josh D said, just tell all to go to your Discord. We can chat there too and make appointment when. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Like I said, I got the Discord up there. I decided, like I said, I already put up about 5 photos up there because I said I was going to start putting enhanced photos up there. And of course, you can see the category there. If you could look on there, it'll say enhanced video or enhanced photos rather. You can click on that, and I've already dropped 5 of those on there. So you know, like I said, I've been wanting to do that, so I made a category for it, and now we got it. So people can weigh in on that, and a few people have seen it already. You know, so it's good. No. Beach Vlogs, what's going on? Good to see you in there. I don't think it's been a while since you've been in here either. Been a while, I think. Or you just kind of sneak in there and don't see it, because sometimes this thing just jumps on me. I don't know who the hell's in here. Sometimes I miss some people, and I hear them go, okay, I'm heading out, and I'm going, I didn't even know they were in there. Because like I said, it's like either I'm showing something on the screen and it's going by, and I don't see it, or somehow this thing jumps on me on this computer, trying to read the comments, and it just goes right by. But good to see you in there, Pete. What we got? Yeah, you guys are asking, well, Long Island, you said, whatever happened to 67p? You know what's really funny? I was just looking at photos of that. Now, I think they just said they had to come up with a gigapan. Look it up. 67p gigapan. Of course, it's got a much larger name to it. But it's like Guy Gajenko or some weird friggin' names. But anyway, if you look up 67p gigapan, it's pretty clear. But you can see it gets immediately darker and darker towards the back of the photo. Just really weird. Really strange stuff. It's like, yeah, we'll let you see a small part, but that's pretty much it. Comment 67B is a UFO emitting radio waves. Well, I think that's what drew them to it, because it was emitting some kind of weird signal. And this is the reason why they went there to investigate it. Now, they were saying, well, we're just getting soil from it. We just want to see, because it's been in and out of the solar system or been around the solar. So we're just trying to see, you know, what kind of rocks or whatever it's been hit by. Or they're trying to see what it's made out of. If it's an outer shell, it's been if you look at that thing, it just looks weird, like a giant peanut, right? But some really, really weird stuff. I've done videos on 67P. Really, really weird how that thing is made. And how do you know it wasn't some kind of probe at one time, years ago, thousands of years ago? Or, like I said, let's be highly speculative. Maybe it is a spacecraft, or it was at one point. And it's got one of those, like, emergency signals being emitted from it. Who the hell knows? But it doesn't actually have a sound to it, because they do have an audio track there. You can even Google that. I think it's like, you can put, well, like we're talking about, 67P emitting signal or sound, and it just has this weird, bizarre sound coming from it. All right, Tim, good to see you. He said, I have to go. See you all next time. Well, I appreciate you being here, Tim. Appreciate your support. Have yourself a great night and a good weekend there, right? Exactly, Robert. Yeah, I was thinking the very same thing, because that's the story I heard. You said if you're talking about Zawi Hawass, they removed him because of the corruption and selling artifacts to private collections for dollars. Yeah, I mean, how do you not? I mean, you know they can get big money for these things. I mean, think about it. And there's no way to gauge what these things are worth, right? So you got something that's unique you cannot find anywhere. Unless, of course, they have replicas they're making now of it. But I remember they were saying this. They had them on eBay. Some people are looting these things, and some people actually have these artifacts. And, of course, they try to get them back, and I'm sure some of them they did. But it's just really weird how they did that. And the guy, you know, it's a scumbag. You know, why do that shit? You know, I mean, you're getting paid. To me, it would be just great just to work with this stuff and say, wow, this is just unique. I'm the only guy that has the chance to actually see this. Of course, there's other archaeologists, but he's the first guy to get into these tombs and stuff like that, so it's awesome. And he's just like, well, so what does he do? He just goes and throws his career out the window by stealing and selling these artifacts off to other people, which is just ridiculous. He's probably finding oh, yeah, take the old fart can, put it on a car, make it sound like it's got 8,000 horsepower, yeah. Anyway, so you got these little artifacts. He's probably going, okay, we'll just slide that out and make money off of that. Because obviously you can't do it on some sarcophagus or some large, let's say a statue of a lion or a cat or bull or whatever. You just can't do that. There's no way to move something. Well, you could do it, but you get a lot more chance of getting caught. But if you can get smaller little items, sell them all day long. And because you're like the only one in there, you're the curator, all right, let's move it along. So it's just really shifty things that people do, right? Weird. Leska Park, what's going on? You said your night all. He's taking off. Okay, Les, have yourself a good night there. Appreciate you being here and joining us, right? Have a good weekend. I like the previous one you had, Les. Okay, great chat, but the wine says go to bed. Time to hit the crib. Oh, okay. No, everybody's taking trying to figure out where everybody's from. David Rains, where's everybody from? I'm from Palm Springs, California. Calgary, Alberta. Whoop, just jumped on me here. Calgary, Alberta, Canada here. Rico says that. Weed bites artifacts should belong to all. Absolutely. Mark Daniels says Atlanta, Georgia. Robert Morgan, Southwest Virginia. I'm just west of you, Robert. Good old WV. Flux capacitor, I like that. Sounds like a 1.4 liters of raw import horsepower. Yeah. You guys know, anybody who builds a real car knows that horsepower is in the engine. You know, I call them fart cans. Sounds like a pissed off hornet. You don't put a muffler on there. Oh yeah, all kinds of horsepower now. Put me a cherry bomb on there, make it sound super fast. Yeah, got a lot to learn. It's like, wait a minute, how can I like piss off the neighbors? Get something really obnoxiously loud. I ain't got it. Cherry bombs. Yeah, Les, well, you're part of the community, so thank yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back. Les says, before I go, I just want to say what a great community we have here. Night all. Like I said, you're just part of the community, brother. So thanks for being here and I appreciate it. I do appreciate that. John McDonald says, New Zealand, any other Kiwis here? Like I said, my friend I was just talking about earlier, he does electric cars and everything else. His name's Gavin. He was from New Zealand as well. John Shades says it's a bit chilly here in the UK. Hot bath later. And there's nothing like that, especially after a long day just chilling, right? Man, this thing just jumped on me again. Oh, here we go. Let me see. Where did it go? Okay. James Cragen, you said, Chris, a question for you, if you don't mind. As you know, I am shut down from SETI Institute live stream because I mentioned your channel, etc. So what is the reason for them doing so, do you think? It could be anything from, oh, it's one of those tinfoil hatters again, to, you know, there may be one of them people that say, well, let's keep it professional. I'd be like, yeah, so let's do that. So let's not lie to the people. It could be just as simple as that. They just don't want to hear it. Or it's because you're trying to influence. It doesn't have to be my channel. It could be anybody's channel. Oh, we don't want people like broadcasting or advertising somebody else's channel on our channel kind of thing. We don't know. It could be a range of reasons, like the two I just mentioned. It's hard to tell. But we all know these people are idiots. There's no way in hell that SETI has not heard anything, especially when they're monitoring X amount of thousands of frequencies every second. So, you know, just the fact that, and here's the thing too, just the fact that they're around the world, because it's not just one area, they can use other radio telescopes as well, right? Fields of these things. So they can actually rent them out, the government pays for that, and, you know, that's pretty much it. So, you know, they probably heard something that they can't explain many times, or they have. Good, yeah, Pete, you said if a star constellation is found to be laid out in Antarctica, it would prove it was occupied and would give a location of landmass. That's true, absolutely. So I think there's a lot of that snow and ice is melting. At some point, it's going to be nothing but gravel and mountains and boulders and everything else, and they'll see for sure. And I think that's what's going on right now, because they're trying to, there's a bunch of ships coming and going all the time in Antarctica. So that could be anything from getting oil from there to maybe artifacts that they know once the snow and ice is cleared, it's going to be visible. So what do you do about it? Well, if you don't want it to be seen, what are you going to do? You're going to hurry up and grab it out of there and take it with you. And of course, these things are like, it's like these giant like oil tankers, but they got the two doors that open up as opposed to just a tanker itself. So they got these large doors on the top of these things to lower stuff in there. So we don't know, right? Steve Gotham, your question was, are we going to do a Wednesday next week, Chris? I don't know at this point. Like I was trying to do one this past week, but wasn't able to do that. Of course, I left that in the community saying there won't be one. Like I said, next Wednesday, well, I'm going to be working at this store at that time, so I don't know. But again, I'll give you guys heads up. I'll try to do it the day before, but I couldn't do that. So I did it, I think, that afternoon on Wednesday and said there won't be one. I think it was mid-morning or just early afternoon. So yeah, I'm trying to make sure I keep you guys abreast of what's going on. So we'll see. I mean, I may very well do that. So just keep an eye open for it, right? Len Peterson, yep, Kiwi here. Taranaki area. Well, that's what they used to think, Sky Blue. You said, don't people get cursed by doing things like stealing artifacts? That's I don't know if that's a myth or not, but, you know, most people believe because you're desecrating a grave that, you know, think about it, even doing that now, just going to any graveyard, people think, oh, maybe their spirit will haunt me. I mean, it just takes somebody that just, I don't know, heartless, brain dead, I don't know, call them what you want, to just do that to a grave. That's just retarded. I just don't see the logic in it. Not to mention it's just completely wrong. Yeah. P. Ferrari said, Chinese are building 2 nuclear-powered icebreakers for Antarctica. Don't trust them. Oh, I don't either. Not by a long shot. Robert Morgan, your question was, didn't the government cut off SETI's funding? Paul Allen was funding them. Well, because they had, what was it? I'm going to forget it what it is now. I'm actually drawing a blank. I hate when that happens. Oh, the Arecibo. Remember that when just that radio telescope actually collapsed? So they couldn't do anything with that. So they were pretty much SOL on that area. But I think they were able to rent out other radio telescopes. So I think they've done that. There was talks about rebuilding Arecibo, but I don't know if that's going to work or not. But we'll see what happens. Odds of grass still here too. Look, a little frostbite in there, out some grass. He said the winds. Here's the thing. I don't know about you guys, but it's been crazy. Last 4 or 5 days, just wind, 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 wind. It's like, good God, what is going on? It's like spring and winter are duking it out constantly. One day it's 82 degrees here. Next to know it's 50 by the afternoon the next day. And it's supposed, according to this, it's supposed to be like 26 degrees for a dew point. It usually gets down to around that temperature or close to it. So you're like, okay. So can't wait to wake up to frost again. I don't know. Mother Nature's lost her mind. William Johnson said he's probably stifled by the, I know what you meant, DOD, like the rest of the government. Yeah, that I don't doubt. The DOD runs a lot of that, you know what I mean? Because they are military and that's pretty much it. So they're going to do that. And they pretty much dictate what these people can let out and what they can't. Get this, guys, 2022 could be the turning point in the study of UFOs. Interest in UFOs continues to grow, both among scientists and government officials. What do you mean it continues to grow? It's almost like they're leaving us back in this... We're so far behind the 8 ball, it's not even funny. At least they're showing that, like, they're far behind, and they just want the public to believe that. You know as well as I, even if the government, you know, meaning the regular, the Navy, the Army, even if they were so behind, doesn't mean the black ops weren't. You can almost bet your butt that these guys knew about this crap long, long time ago. Now that, like I said earlier, we're on another page showing this, talking about this, where it's like they want to do like, basically have a department to investigate these things. Are you kidding? Really? I don't know. 2021, there was an upsurge in peculiar sightings reported, thanks to people with smartphones and other video gear that captured these strange glimmers in the sky. Here's the funny part, and anybody will tell you this, it's like, maybe these things have been around all this time, but because smartphones are becoming more abundant, people are sitting there, but that doesn't mean they haven't been here all this time. It's just now people got more cameras and it's so readily available, they just click, 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 and taking pictures. Of course, half of them look like they've done it through a screen door, or potato, or they can't seem to get a real photo, but keep in mind, a phone wasn't really designed to do that. They're zooming way up in the sky. It can zoom into a little bit, to a certain degree, take a really good photo, but within reason, right? Could these identified aerial phenomena, stop calling them UAPs, it's ridiculous, by satellite technology deployed by foreign governments, falling space junk, or maybe even floating special or specialty balloons, or purposely faked unidentified flying objects, UFOs? Or could they be, well, aliens? What if Earth has been on the receiving end of extraterrestrial speeding from Alpha Centauri, remember we talked about Alpha Centauri, who found themselves lacking well, this is kind of silly, but brake fluid and crashed into New Mexico. See, this is where I love where they just make fun of this. This is space.com, which some of these people you just want to punch right in the mouth because it's just ridiculous how they just make fun of it. Many of these objects are ultimately identified. Others, however, remain mysterious. But they're not aliens. Don't worry about it. Nonetheless, in 2022, UAP will get more attention from both the scientific community and federal government, experts told Space.com. And this was here.
Imagine, Jackie, they're having the time of their lives.
How about that there? I'm not sure what the hell that is, but anyway, you got a Mars photo up here. What is that? Oh, Sounds of Mars, yeah. Pretty interesting. Talking about the winds and laser blasts and pretty interesting.
NASA's explorers on Mars are on the move and making new discoveries. It's a journey you can be a part of too. NASA's Curiosity rover, which has been climbing Mount Sharp since 2014, is about to drive up onto a broad, sloping surface called the Greenhue Pediment. This will allow scientists to fast forward perhaps millions of years in Mars's history and study the history of liquid water written into these different layers of rock. And Curiosity made some interesting discoveries along the way. Less than ½ an inch in size, this unusual feature, eroded from sedimentary rock, was cemented by mineral-rich groundwater. And check out this rock, smoothly eroded by winds. Over in Jezero Crater, the Perseverance rover is getting ready for a new destination and science campaign. And it's consistently setting driving records on Mars by relying more on self-driving software.
Not sure which one this page is playing on now. Really weird.
Without having to consult a human on Earth.
That's funny.
Perseverance will be pushing north.
Stop it. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, interesting. I mean, some of these, I don't know. I always laugh at this kind of thing because when they're saying that they're doing studies now, they're doing interesting things, disclosure, they're trying to find out, they're doing more compartments now to try to figure out what's going on. I just find it amusing how, let me just, talking about, of course, we've already seen these, the UFO Navy videos and how they're like, oh my God, check this out. Really cool stuff. Let me see, we'll do it this way here.
No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at it fly! Dude, that is a fucking drone, bro. There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude. That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not. That is the LNS, dude. Well, if there's like... Look at that thing! It's rotating.
I think a lot of these, you know, this is supposed to be the gimbal UFO. I think it was, you know, it's just really weird. It's almost like that particular video at the time was inverted. Because think about it. Anytime something's bright and you invert it, what does it do? It turns like a black. So anything that's really, really shiny is going to be, it's going to turn black. It's almost like the inverted, like you can see it's in, what do you call it? You can see it's in infrared. But just really weird how they did that. So I don't know if that's true or not, or if it's false. What do you guys think about that? Really, really weird. UAP spotter gear. Woohoo! Check this thing out. One potential major development in 2022 rather, will be the UFO detection, according to Mark Redeger. We'll just call him Mark, scientific director of the Center of UFO Studies in Chicago. The effort to detect, track, and measure the UFO phenomenon in the field in real time has recently entered a new phase. Mark said, TotalSpace.com. The technology has gotten better. Software tools have improved, and current interest of UFOs has attracted new qualified professionals. Why? There's no such thing as UFOs, right? It's all trash. Think about it. Jerry Lane, you jumped in there. Say it's rotating, dude. John Shea says some channel was canceled because he asked about aliens on a NASA Ask Us Anything session. Yeah, imagine that. Yeah, you can ask, just don't ask anything that might be, you know, we don't want to have to answer that, so we'll kick you off. It's ridiculous. You people are supposed to be NASA. You can still give, even if you don't have the answer, just say, truthfully, we don't know the answer to that. We're just like, you know, they want to check it out, like we're reading in here. They want to investigate it more, so we really don't know. Instead, no, we'll just go ahead and get rid of him. That's not right. I didn't see you jumping in, Christine Ingram. Good to see you in there. Good to see you in there. Yeah, John Shops, you said, so there is air. You're talking about the helicopter taking off and the different things like that. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's probably just reading your, James, I was just reading your comment. It's pretty funny. Well, not funny, but the way you were talking to Christine, you said a double, you know, for asking where are the real pictures. Then I mentioned Chris and his channel, and they told him it was being inappropriate towards the podcast. How is it inappropriate? You're trying to tell people, hey, look, this is what's going on. Why the pictures look like garbage? And I've heard other people say the same thing, like, why do these pictures look so, you know, false and everything? Oh, you better ask them that. I keep saying pressure them, as long as you can not get kicked off, right? But you know they're going to do that. Just common sense. Yeah, Christine, he said, you've been listening. Hi, but was late in. Yeah, that's not a problem, Christine. I was just glad to see you in there. I mean, we're going to be wrapping this up pretty soon anyway, because we're at, what, 7:37, so we'll be wrapping it up soon. I got to get up early anyway. I got to get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. But I still got time, so I'm not really worried about it. But we'll go a little bit longer. I like what you said. You said, LOL, you got told off. You were talking about James, I think. You said, you got told off for mentioning Chris. So funny. They should not be lying, then they would not be looking. Oh, my God. Nothing surprised me. That's awesome, Great for All. You said I bought a Nikon Coolpix PU900 camera, which I thought about getting too, or the 1000. I really want to capture some UFOs. That's what I want to do too. Like I said, I got rid of my telescope at the time because I really wasn't using it that much, and bought a little camera, digital camera, and all that for it. But it's either going bigger, or you can even something as small as the P1000 or the 900 would work. I mean, you're not going to get right to the surface, but it captures pretty darn well for what it is. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. I see a lot of these UFOs, and I think a lot of them are absolutely bull, or just, what are you going to use the term, CGI and manufactured, right? And some of them, no, they're definitely not. They don't know what these things are. Now, the thing what they got to determine is it's something that's made here on Earth, or otherworldly, right? To me, I go, whoever's got the technology to build that here on Earth, you should be afraid of. I mean, that's the way I look at it. Because if you don't have it and somebody else does, they can actually reign supreme if they want to. And that's not a good thing. Because that could be anybody who owns this. But, you know, maybe it is in fact just simple otherworldly beings. And that, you know, that's what's going on. And they're just looking at what we're doing and inspecting and checking it out and saying, okay, you know, it's probably saying, oh, these people ain't ready. It's as simple as that. I don't know. It's just crazy, right? I was just reading Cloud 33 Studios. You're talking to Great for All, but you said you bought a P100, which is crazy, for $23 on eBay. It's only 26 times optical, but still gets good moon pics compared to my telescope. Is yours one? Yeah, isn't that weird? Like, you can have a good sized telescope, and yet this camera, because of the zoom and the digital zoom and manual zoom, that it's just crazy how this thing gets right up on the moon, right? And it could do better than a lot of telescopes. Hell, I know people that got really big telescopes and still don't know how to use them. Or they think they're seeing things that they're really not. Pete Ferrari said, if NASA tells us 10% of what they really know, we're lucky. Mm-hmm. Rashomania, he said, they can't break galactic laws. Well, and that's what it is. It's right, just let it's kind of like with Star Trek, you know, they're, you know, that their directive is to not interfere with the planet itself or the inhabitants. It's kind of the same way, but they're probably saying, well, we can't allow them to blow themselves to pieces either. So that's why you hear stories about how they shut down military sites and silos and you know, stuff like that. And if that's true, then obviously they're not here to get us, meaning to hurt us or, you know, kill us off or whatever, like everybody believes. Oh, the devils, they're whatever, you know, oh, whatever. Because to me, it just seems like if they were going to do anything to the planet, they'd say, you know what, just let them have at it. Maybe we can just instigate one country, they'll think it's the other country, and we'll have war with each other constantly. But we already do that. but we could just have more, even more so. Maybe we'll even get them to press the button. And when we do that, we can sit back and let them kill each other off. And then we can just take what we want. We can reap the benefits. You know, but, you know, that's not the case. That's not what's going on. It's not what's going on at all. James, you said, Chris, going back to Mars video last week, the two disc-shaped objects, remember, well, one of them was on the right has permanently positioned cuttings on it if you look closely with a magnifier. Yeah, I know, aren't they weird? And the fact that they're just right next to each other, it makes you wonder, are they part of something, just one object, and it's just got a bunch of junk on top of it? Or is it two objects, and they just happen to be like the same size? They look like the same size, just kind of buried differently. But they almost look like the same size. That's not something you should see on Mars. Again, you know, it pretty much shows to me that's, you know, what do you call it? Intelligently made. It's as simple as that. And of course, there was so much more in there, right? The Awoken One, what's happening? Good to see you in there. So just popping in to say hi. Chris, sorry I missed the live stream, but it'll give me something interesting to watch over the weekend. Oh, yeah. Well, it's good to have you in there. Like I said, we're probably at the end of this anyway, but I'm glad to have you pop in here and say hello. It's awesome. Appreciate that. Oh, yeah. I mean, well, Christine, you said, Chris, you cannot upload pictures of the moon directly from your telescope if you have one, because they will send Army helicopters over your house and harass you and scare you. See, that's one thing I've never been worried about. A lot of people have asked me periodically, hey, Chris, have you ever been told to cease and desist? Or I've never had that done, ever. And I wouldn't even care if they did, because truthfully, they have an Army base right next to me. So if they really wanted to stifle me, they would have done this a long time ago, right? Just bang on the door, cease and desist, or else. You know, I never had anything like that happen, and I don't foresee that happening, even if I was doing live video, because, like I said, I got a digital camera to put right on a telescope if I want to. But I'd rather go with the P1000 because they're not cheap. Excuse me, soda's going to kill me. They're not cheap at all. They're actually, I forget what they are. Depending on what you get for like the kit, it's like $1,200 to $1,500. But they're insane cameras. I mean, you could literally get right up on the moon. And it was better than definitely mine was only like a 6-inch telescope. It wasn't very big. So even with a good Barlow and a digital camera, you can only do so much before you're limited. It's all there is to it. You got just so much light coming in, so much focal point. It's pretty much trash. So you got to get something much, much larger in order to get it to work, right? So that's pretty much the way it goes. Alfie Joe Bob says 158 thumbs up. If you guys haven't thumbs up, please do so. It helps the algorithm. It helps the live feed get out, and YouTube will share it somewhat. But yeah, go ahead and hit it for me if you don't mind, and I do appreciate it. Steve Garnham says, have a great weekend, Chris, and everyone, until we meet again. I appreciate it, Steve. You do the same thing, and good to have you in there as always. Oh, you guys are awesome. It's good to have everybody in there. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to sign off and get off this bad whamma jamma and probably get something to eat before I fall out and kill myself. No, I'm kidding. But before we oh, God, I'm getting hungry, because, like I said, I'll have to go to bed early, so which kind of bites it, but it is what it is. Get in there early, get out early. That's the way I look at it. This we can actually start the weekend. How good is that? How sweet is that? So, let me see here. My watch has been charging for a while. Let's see what we got here. I only got about 8,000 steps in today. But that was just at work. Usually I'll get in, excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. No, actually it was the watch. 7:46 at this time. That's not too bad. Not too shabby, right? But yeah, just shy of, it's 75,000, well, 7,500, I'm sorry, and 55 steps. But that was just at work, and then I took it off here. Well, you see me, it died on me. But let me see here. This is a good little watch. It does ECGs. It does everything on this thing. It's just crazy. with the phone app, you can literally see your heart rate and everything else, and see if you've got any irregularities and just weird stuff if you want that kind of thing. But pretty cool. But yeah, guys, we're going to sign it off. And like I said, I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. I'm going to let you guys know what's going on with the new job. And this week is going to still be at the same store, so it's no big deal. Try to not go to, excuse me, a couple videos this week. And maybe we'll try, I'm not going to say I'm going to, but we'll try, maybe we'll do it again. We'll attempt to do it on Wednesday again. But God only knows what's going to happen as this is ramping up this week till next week, and the following week rather, I'll be on probably going to the other one. If everything works out all right, I already talked to the owner, so we'll just have to see if there's anything defined, definite, I don't know. Who knows, I might even stand up here, depending on how he works it. It doesn't matter to me either way. But I'll definitely let you guys know, and like I said, we'll work it some other way. Like I said, even if we had to do hangouts and share other things, and we could do that, it's just always good. I mean, I'd rather do the videos because I got still so many of these things to share. That's why I like doing them, right? So, oh, okay. So yeah, I love doing it, so I don't care, you know. But oh, have some water this time. What do you think of that? Maybe it won't be burping all over the place. Ah, purified cess water. Oh, what? Ah, refreshing. Yeah, right from the river itself, where you got three-headed bass. Oh, anyway, like I said, I want to. Josh D says, nearly 2 a.m. here, loved every minute, and please promote your Discord to stay in touch with all. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, I'll leave the link to Discord as well, and plus these other little pages that we had here. We'll go ahead and leave those as well, and so people can check them out if they want to check out the UFO pages and stuff, which I find always interesting, right? And we try to have different topics if we can. And like I said, on the Discord, we're going to try to put, like I said, I got 5 photos of the enhanced photos, so if people want to look at those and go, hey, I've seen that in the video, but I'd love to be able to grab this thing and really, really dissect it myself. Now you can do so, right? So it helps. And that was Ricardo Petrazzi that suggested that, which is awesome. So a big thank you to Ricardo. So what I'm going to do, we're going to sign off. And like I said, I'm going to leave you guys with this, like I said, we're going to just check out what's going to see. Because to be truthful, everything's up in the air right now. So I can't make any decisions or say anything with any definitive answer. So we'll just play it by ear. It's the way to do it. So I'm going to let everybody go. Alfie Joe Bob, he said, bye-bye all. Good seeing you there, Alfie Joe. And have yourself a good night. Everybody here, much love to all of you guys. I'm glad that you guys are here. Great community, as always. And, you know, just a whole lot of love for everybody here, which I find interesting and just really awesome, too, at the same time. Because I've seen other Hangouts, and I told you guys this before. I've seen other Hangouts, and they're good. Don't get me wrong. But you can just tell some people are just there for just to bust jokes constantly and just really not pay attention to what's really going on. So, so like I said, I got a great community here. Can't ask for anything better. It's as simple as that. So that's why I want to continue on doing this as well. Future, we'll see what the future holds. And like I said, for this week, we're fine. This week coming up. And then as it approaches, I'll be able to tell you guys what's going on more. Who knows? Maybe I might just give them all the finger and just start doing this more. I don't know. It's all up in the air. We'll see what happens. Play it by ear. Anyway, I'm going to let everybody go. Thanks for all your support. You guys are awesome. And like I said, if you want to jump on there in the PayPal, support the channel, buy me a cup of coffee, greatly appreciate it. The link is at the top of the comment section. It's always good to, you know, have that extra cup of coffee, and I appreciate it. So I'll let everybody go. I hope everybody's in great health, stays that way, has a great weekend, good week, and we'll see you guys in the next videos, right? So anyway, everybody have a good one. Much love to you all. We'll keep it on. Well, I'm right up to the hour. It's right, 7:51 Eastern time, so it'll be whatever it is. It'll be on spot on the hour for you guys. But anyway, everybody have a great weekend. Peace.